Chapter 50. The strongest move was also the strongest collision. Who would win or lose would be decided by this move. Heart-biting eyes turned into an endless blood-colored blade light, and slashed down along the sharp blood-sucking broadsword. Lunatic Long thought that it was impossible for his opponent to take his third style of dragon roar. Just after the collision, Lunatic Long's face suddenly changed. He quickly retreated and tried his best to avoid the shocking blade light. But Lunatic Long already knew that with his current strength and speed, it was impossible to avoid it. In other words, he had already lost this move. Lost? Although he didn't want to admit defeat, Lunatic Long knew that he had lost in the end. His opponent's move was too powerful. No one in One Line Sky was his opponent unless he was an expert of evolution. Without any more resistance, Lunatic Long had chosen to give up. Lunatic Longao, how dare you! Just when Lunatic Long thought that he was going to die this time, he found that the blade light didn't hit him. He was very curious. He opened his eyes and looked at the smiling young man in front of him. He asked, "You won't kill me?" "Lunatic Long, I killed your brother. The grudge between us can be settled in the future. I will wait for you. I hope you can keep your promise and don't bring disaster to the family." After that, Longao turned and left. Because of this, everyone was a little confused. They didn't know if water had entered his brain. Such a rare opportunity, but he didn't make a move. Lunatic Long stared at the leaving young man and clenched his fists tightly. Although he didn't die this time, he had fallen from 78th to 79th on the 100 battle ranking, while Longao was promoted to 78th on the 100 battle ranking. Longao, who left, didn't feel the slightest joy from defeating Lunatic Long because he knew that there were many warriors stronger than him on this continent. If a fusion or unification warrior came, he wouldn't have the slightest chance to resist, and could only be slaughtered. "Are you okay?" Lunatic Long shook his head. This defeat seemed to be a blow to him. He said, "This boy's talent and potential are the strongest I have ever seen. Even in a big sect, he is a first-class existence." He seemed a little surprised. Long Yenching certainly knew that his grandson's knowledge was better than his. Even Lunatic Long praised this boy. It seemed that this boy's talent and potential were really good. Trash? At this moment, Long Yenching fiercely scolded the person who spread the rumor. His talent was so strong, but he was called trash. "Fomer, even if this kid is strong, we might still be able to kill him if we join forces. If we don't remove the roots when cutting the weeds, they will grow again when the spring breeze blows. We must eliminate all future troubles." After seeing the young man's strength and talent with his own eyes, Long Yenching was completely afraid. As the saying went, it was better to be safe than sorry. If this young man really became strong, what would happen to his family? Lunatic Long was aware of his grandfather's worries, but he did not intend to do so. "No matter what, I will not let anyone hurt my grandson." Longao. He knew what kind of person Lunatic Long was from the battle just now. That was why Longao chose not to kill Lunatic Long in the end. He wanted to make sure that the Long family would not attack his family after he left Thundercloud City. After settling the family's matter, Longao left with a peace of mind. From now on, he would go out to train. He wanted to raise his strength to the highest level in the shortest time possible. At that time, even if Yi Hao came looking for trouble, he would not be afraid. In this continent where martial arts were respected and martial artists ran amok, strength represented everything. In just a few minutes, the news of Longao defeating Lunatic Long had spread throughout the Thundercloud City. Everyone who heard the news was shocked, because no one was willing to believe that the number one genius of the Long family, the number one expert of the Thundercloud City, and the number 78th on the 100 battle ranking list was defeated by a level 8 disciple of the Long family. Although many people were used to Longao's counterattacks, they still could not accept such a crazy counterattack. Lunatic Long was ranked 78th on the 100 battle ranking list. His strength was needless to say. But what about Longao? Even if he was talented, he was still ranked 95th on the 100 battle ranking list. challenges between people on the 100 battle ranking list often happened. But it was almost unheard of for someone ranked 95th to defeat someone ranked 78th. If the news was not true, no one would believe it. Longao defeated Lunatic Long, which meant that from now on, the 100 battle ranking list changed again. Longao jumped from 95th to 78th, while Lunatic Long fell one place to 79th. After a short period of shock and disbelief, everyone in Thundercloud City began to accept it. At the same time, they admired the young man who rose from the Long family in Redfire Town, besides a trace of envy. He fought with Long Yulong, Yiguqing, and Long Yenqing. The young man never admitted defeat. He would rather die standing than live on his knees. He won everyone's respect. Because of this, everyone soon forgot about the former top genius, Longao. Instead, they remembered the current top genius, Longao. People were like this. They only remembered the winners and did not care about the losers. The Heaven and Earth sect also changed the ranking of the 100 battle ranking list in time. Since then, Longao was not only ranked 78th on the 100 battle ranking list, but also regarded as the top expert in Thundercloud City. Even the governor might not be his opponent. The top expert in Thundercloud City and 78th on the 100 battle ranking list. Just these two titles were enough to scare off anyone. It was also because of this that the Scarlet Fire Town's Long family moved into Thundercloud City on a large scale because of Longao's rise. No matter which faction it was, they did not dare to stop them in the slightest. Until now, the Move family's attitude had changed completely. They did not stop the Long family from moving into Thundercloud City. Instead, they helped them. With the support of the Move family and the governor's mansion, the Long family's foundation in Thundercloud City expanded tenfold in just a few days. Because of Longao, the 8th grade Long family became a 7th grade Long family again. This was because the family's foundation was not strong enough. Otherwise, the Long family in Redfire Town would have become a 6th grade family. Chapter 51. Level 7 Long Family. Although it was only a Level 7 Long family, no one dared to underestimate them. This was not because of the family itself, but because of the rise of a genius behind the family. Everyone knew that Longao had appeared in Thundercloud City. However, not many people knew the exact location of Longao in Thundercloud City. Lu Ji found out about it through some reason and told Ji Hao of Sky Cloud Sect. Outside Thundercloud City. Long Mo Ouyang Fei. Are the Long family and Star Cloud Royal family really going to protect this kid? Looking at the people in front of him, Yi Hao's expression was extremely ugly. He thought that he would be able to kill Longao as soon as he found him. But in the end, the Level 5 Long family and Star Cloud Royal family wanted to protect him. Yi Hao could ignore the others, but the Level 5 Long family and Star Cloud Royal family were existences that even the Master of Sky Cloud Sect would not dare to offend. Yi Hao was furious, but he was also curious and surprised. After all, Longao was just a disciple of a small family. Did the Level 5 Long family and Star Cloud Royal family eat too much? They were actually standing up for an ant. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If he could not kill Longao this time, Yi Hao knew that it would not be easy for him to take revenge for his grandson in the future. Yi Hao already knew about the matter of Longao defeating Lunatic Long. It seemed that he was a little caught off guard by Longao's development. With such talent and potential, he believed that it wouldn't take long for the other party to grow to be as strong as him. At that time, it would really be like cutting the grass without removing the roots, and it would grow again when the spring breeze blew. This time, the Level 5 Long family had sent out an evolved expert. The Star Cloud Royal family was even more exaggerated. They had sent out the Crown Prince of Star Cloud Kingdom. Their status was obvious. This was enough to show how high Longao's status was in the eyes of the Level 5 Long family and Star Cloud Royal family. It was also because of this that Yi Hao was a little surprised. Ouyang Fei sneered. Although the Sky Cloud Martial School was powerful, it was still nothing in the eyes of the Star Cloud Royal family. If they could successfully recruit a super genius, a future top warrior, it would not be a bad deal to offend the Sky Cloud Martial School. Yi Hao, the battle between Longao and Yi Guqing was a fair one. Life and death are determined by fate. Riches and honor are determined by the heavens. How could Yi Hao not know what Longao had said? After all, it was a battle of life and death between cultivators. Life and death were fated, and riches and honor were up to the heavens. However, his most beloved grandson had been killed. He really could not swallow this anger. Was he going to give up on his grandson's revenge just like that? Longao, does the Long family really want to become enemies with my Flowing Cloud sect? Wait, it's not the Flowing Cloud sect, it's you. We've already communicated with the Flowing Cloud sect, and your sect has already agreed not to participate in this matter. If you insist on taking revenge, why can't we help Longao? The other party's meaning was very clear. Yi Hao was no fool. Of course, he could understand. It was impossible to say that he did not have any resentment towards the sect. However, Yi Hao knew that the Sky Cloud sect would not offend the Nebula royal family, and the Long family for him unless his cultivation base could break through to the fusion realm. However, breaking through to the fusion realm was easier said than done. Ouyang Fei, the crown prince of the Nebula royal family, was also a cultivation genius. He had already reached the one-line sky at a young age. Yi Hao, if I were you, I would leave obediently. Who do you think you are? I can tell you clearly that even if you have reached the evolution realm, in the eyes of our Nebula Kingdom, you are nothing. I hope you can understand this. Powerful. Ouyang Fei's strength was not because of his own strength, but because of the power behind him. After all, the one-line sky and the evolution realm were two extremes. However, the Nebula Kingdom was like a huge mountain, firmly placed there. Ouyang Fei, you. Waving his hand, Ouyang Fei did not give Yi Hao any chance to speak. He sneered and said, Yi Hao, if it wasn't for the Flowing Cloud sect, we wouldn't even talk to you. If you know what's good for you, scram. Ouyang Fei had brought 2 evolution realm experts with him this time. If Longao was included, there would be a total of 3 evolution realm experts. How could Yi Hao fight 1 against 3? But was he really going to give up just like that? If he were to give up just like that, Yi Hao was really unwilling. But what could he do? After all, the other party had the Nebula royal family, and the rank 5 Long family as their backing. Not to mention him, even the Flowing Cloud sect would not dare to provoke the Nebula royal family, and the rank 5 Long family. Yi Hao, don't tell me you still want to continue. Longao and the other 2 Nebula royal family's evolution realm experts unleashed their powerful chi, intertwining with each other and fiercely suppressing the other party. You guys! Not daring to be careless, Yi Hao hurriedly unleashed his own chi. However, how could Yi Hao resist the chi unleashed by the 3 evolution realm experts? Step by step, the chi unleashed by the 3 evolution realm experts was overwhelming. The 3 evolution realm experts did not even put the other party in their eyes. What could the Sky Cloud Sect's elders do? Enough. After stopping the 3, Ouyang Fei did not want to make this a big deal. Although the Nebula royal family was not afraid of the Sky Cloud sect, they could not go too far. Once they killed Yi Hao, it would be hard to explain to the Sky Cloud sect. After the 3 chi disappeared, Yi Hao let out a long sigh of relief. The mountains will not change and the rivers will always flow. We will meet again. In the end, Yi Hao chose to give up. Regardless of whether he could take revenge in the future, he understood one thing: a wise man does not fight when the odds are against him. If the Sky Cloud sect did not show up to kill him, not only would he not be able to take revenge, he would also lose his life. Wait! Longao, who had not spoken yet, suddenly spoke. Everyone was curious. They did not know what Longao wanted to do, since Yi Hao was about to leave. Could it be that Longao wanted to fight back? Hearing Longao's words, Yi Hao's expression changed drastically. He turned his head and stared at him coldly. His voice was like hell as he said coldly, Longao, don't go too far. Don't think that just because you have the support of the rank 5 Long family and the Nebula royal family, you can bully me as you wish. Completely ignoring Yi Hao's angry face, Longao said calmly. 1 year later, I will personally go to the Sky Cloud sect to challenge you. At that time, I will defeat you in front of everyone. 1 year? Ha ha, good. 1 year later, I will wait for you at the Sky Cloud sect. Yi Hao's face was full of disdain and happiness. After all, he could take revenge for his grandson in 1 year. Chapter 52. A Year's Promise. Yi Hao had full confidence that he could defeat and kill Yi Hao in a year's time. Although Yi Hao's potential and talent were the strongest he had ever seen, was it possible for Yi Hao to break through the evolution realm and reach his level in a year's time? No matter if others believed it or not, he would never believe it. Looking at Yi Hao, who had already left, Longao and Ouyang Fei were both anxious. They could not understand why Yi Hao would make a year's promise with Yi Hao since they had already helped him. Could it be that Yi Hao was so confident that he could defeat Yi Hao in a year's time? Not to mention Yi Hao, even Longao and Ouyang Fei did not believe it. Ouyang Fei sighed deeply and said, Brother Long, why do you have to do this? Thank you, Crown Prince and Senior Longao, for your help. Longao will definitely repay your kindness today. Brother Long, since you and I feel like old friends, and I am a few years older than you, why don't you call me Big Brother Ouyang and I call you Brother Long? Ouyang Fei seemed to be a little surprised. He did not know why the Crown Prince of Star Cloud Kingdom would take such good care of him, and even call him brother. Thinking about it, Longao instantly understood the Crown Prince's intention. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew the Crown Prince's intention. If he was the trash that everyone called him 10 years ago, would Ouyang Fei still treat him like this? The answer was easy to see. However, living in this world where martial arts were respected, one had to follow the rules of this world. Otherwise, the one who would suffer in the end would be himself. Big Brother Ouyang, thank you. Ha ha, good. Brother Long, don't worry. A year later, I will accompany you to the Flowing Cloud sect. I also want to see how dangerous the Flowing Cloud sect is. Longao, if you don't mind, I am also willing to accompany you. No matter what Ouyang Fei and Longmo's goal was, the two of them being able to do this was already enough. Smiling, Longao said confidently, Thank you, Big Brother Ouyang and Senior Longao. A year later, I will definitely defeat Yi Hao. Looking at the strong confidence of the young man in front of them, Longao and Ouyang Fei were both surprised. The two looked at each other and smiled. After all, actions spoke louder than words. Brother Long, if you don't mind, why don't you come with me to Star Cloud City? Longao, the family head, would also like to meet you. Actually, in Longao's heart, he did not want to go to Star Cloud City. However, no matter what, Longao and Ouyang Fei had helped him. If he were to refuse, it would be somewhat unkind. Since I've never been to Star Cloud City before, I might as well go and take a look. Looks like I'll have to bother the two of you. Ouyang Fei and Longao both laughed heartily when they heard that. As for the news of Longao challenging Yi Hao, it spread throughout the entire Thundercloud City. Everyone who received the news broke out in cold sweat for Longao, but most of them were filled with anticipation. After all, Longao had given them too many unexpected and counterattacks. The promise of a year. Nebula City, the central city of the Nebula Kingdom. The Nebula royal family was located here. There was also a level 5 Long family, a super family clan, overseeing the city. The Martial Heaven continent was divided into 9 provinces. The Martial Heaven continent had 2 large empires. They were the Flame Empire and the Thunder Empire. As for the Star Cloud Kingdom, it was one of the stronger empires of the Thunder Empire. The strongest families of the Star Cloud Kingdom were gathered in Star Cloud City. The strongest martial artists were gathered there. Here, it was possible to provoke a powerful martial artist at any time. Unless you were a spoiled young master or someone blind, no one would dare to be arrogant in Star Cloud City. After several days of continuous travel, Longao and the others finally arrived at Star Cloud City. Looking at the huge city walls, Longao was a bit surprised. Whether it was Scarlet Flame Town or Thundercloud City, They were on a completely different level compared to Star Cloud City. Longao and Ouyang Fei weren't surprised at all. They had seen this kind of expression far too many times. Ouyang Fei smiled. Brother Long, do you want to go directly to the palace or come later? No, I want to take a good look at Star Cloud City. I'll go to the palace in a bit. Alright, then I'll wait for Brother Long in the palace. It seemed Ouyang Fei had something important to do. He whipped his horse and quickly left, disappearing without a trace. Longao, when will you come to my Long family? Whether it was the 9th rank, 5th rank, or 6th rank Long family, they were all branches of the Long family. But under normal circumstances, the higher level Long family looked down on the lower level Long family. In truth, Longao did reject the higher level Long family to a certain extent. He shook his head. I won't go for now. I want to temper myself first. It won't be too late for me to go after I break through. Longao seemed to understand Longao's character. He didn't force him. After saying a few polite words, he quickly left. After Ouyang Fei and Longao left, Longao felt a lot more relaxed. It was better for him to be alone and free. What Nebula royal family, what rank 5 Long family, what they valued was his talent and potential. If one day he became a trash again, he was afraid that both parties would be the most heartless. Without thinking about anything else, Longao paid the entrance fee and smoothly entered Star Cloud City. This was Longao's first time leaving Thunder Cloud City. When he walked into Star Cloud City, he realized that the difference between Chihua Town and Thunder Cloud City was like the difference between a child and an adult. Longao first found a restaurant and ordered a table full of dishes. He ate alone. Star Cloud City was packed with people. At a glance, there were people everywhere. Among them, 20% were warriors. Longao could clearly sense that there were powerful warriors outside. Among them, there was even a Xiantian master. Have you heard? Princess Xixia of the Imperial family is publicly looking for a groom. Whoever can kill a purple-winged blood gold lion and take its beast core to refine spirit recovery pills will be married immediately. Really? Old Hay, are you thinking of killing a purple-winged blood gold lion? Don't joke around. I heard that purple-winged blood gold lion is an extremely ferocious beast. Its strength is terrifying. Not to mention you, even a Xiantian master might not be able to kill it. Purple-winged blood gold lion? Of course, Longao knew about the purple-winged blood gold lion that these people were talking about. Purple-winged blood gold lion was a Xiantian spiritual beast. It was incomparably powerful. Not only was it cruel, but it could also communicate with lightning. Unless there was no other choice, no one would want to provoke a purple-winged blood gold lion. Of course, Longao didn't think about Princess Xixia's groom's search. There was only one name in his mind, purple-winged blood gold lion. If he could kill it and get its beast core, wouldn't he be able to refine spirit recovery pills? Chapter 53. The purple-winged blood gold lion was a Xiantian spiritual beast. Its beast core could be used to refine the spirit recovery pill. The spirit recovery pill had a miraculous effect. It was said that a single spirit recovery pill could help a warrior recover from his injuries instantly. Therefore, every warrior wanted to get their hands on one. However, it was not easy to refine the spirit recovery pill. Just hunting a purple-winged blood gold lion was an extremely difficult task. After all, a purple-winged blood gold lion could communicate with the power of thunder and lightning. Thus, it could kill enemies who were at a higher level. I want to ask, where can I find a purple-winged blood gold lion? Seeing that it was a young boy who asked, everyone laughed unscrupulously. One of them said mockingly, Do you also want to go to the Nebula Forest to hunt a purple-winged blood gold lion? Nebula Forest? Seeing the young man leave without saying a word, everyone burst into laughter. They were all talking about him, but most of them were mocking him and looking down on him. In their eyes, there were too many people who wanted to kill the purple-winged blood gold lion. These people were only after Princess Xixia's beauty. Princess Xixia. She was the most beloved princess of the Nebula Kingdom. She had been spoiled since she was a child. She had her eyes set on the sky. This time, because the Emperor was seriously ill and needed the spirit recovery pill, she didn't hesitate to hunt purple-winged blood gold lions. It was obvious how much Princess Xixia cherished her father. As the most beautiful woman in the Nebula Kingdom, Princess Xixia had countless suitors. However, Princess Xixia's standards were too high. Therefore, even after so many years, Princess Xixia had remained single. This time, Princess Xixia had suddenly announced to the world that she was going to choose a husband. This had caused the entire Star Cloud Kingdom to become lively. Many young geniuses had poured into Star Cloud City in order to hunt down the purple-winged blood gold lions and obtain Princess Xixia's favor. Nebula Forest. It was the largest forest of spirit beasts in the Nebula Kingdom. It was also the most dangerous place. It was a graveyard for humans, but a paradise for spirit beasts. After a few bites, Longao left Thundercloud City and went to the Nebula Forest to try his luck. He wanted to see if he could hunt purple-winged blood gold lions and obtain their beast cores to refine the spirit recovery pill. According to the records, the purple-winged blood gold lion was not only powerful, but also extremely fast. It often appeared and disappeared like a shadow. Ordinary Xiantian realm warriors could not even find its trace, let alone hunt it down. Longao had just stepped into the Nebula Forest when he sensed the auras of many cultivators. It seemed that the charm of this Princess Xixia of the Nebula Kingdom was truly powerful. Longao wasn't going to hunt the purple-winged blood gold lion for the betrothal, so he didn't think too much about Princess Xixia. The Star Cloud Forest was much bigger than the Thunder Cloud Forest. After entering the Nebula Forest, Longao followed the information he received and headed towards the place where the purple-winged blood gold lion might appear. Look! Even the one-armed Saber King has come. It seems like even old ox wants to eat young grass. Crack. Before the man could finish his words, he had already been cut in half at the waist, scaring the surrounding people into dodging. The one-armed Saber King was obsessed with Saber Dao. He had reached the pinnacle of one-line sky at the age of 30 and was ranked 77th on the 100 battle ranking list. He was even one rank higher than Lunatic Long. One could imagine how powerful he was. The indifferent man had a full beard and a long scar from his forehead to his chin. He looked extremely terrifying. This man was the one-armed Saber King. Whoever dares to talk nonsense will end up like him. The one-armed Saber King's cold aura spread out in all directions. Everyone hurriedly retreated. No one wanted to provoke this evil star who killed without batting an eyelid. The purple-winged blood gold lion is mine. Whoever dares to touch it will die. It had to be said that the one-armed Saber King was too arrogant, but no one dared to say anything. This was the powerful aura brought by strength. The one-armed Saber King sneered. He looked around with disdain and turned to leave. The rest of the crowd looked at each other. Their faces were filled with bitterness and unwillingness, but most of them were angry. The one-armed Saber King had threatened them. As long as they dared to hunt the purple-winged blood gold lion, many of them had already started to back out of the Nebula Forest. Some were afraid of death, but some were not. A small number of people still chose to go in and look for the purple-winged blood gold lion. Longao, who was hiding on the side, also seemed to be a little surprised. He felt that this matter was very tricky. After all, the purple-winged blood gold lion had attracted a warrior from One-Line Sky, who was also a genius on the 100 battle ranking list. The one-armed Saber King? Longao's mouth suddenly curved into a smile. Of course, he would not back down just because of the one-armed Saber King. He followed the crowd slowly towards the southeast. From the moment he stepped into the Nebula Forest, Longao began to have doubts. That was the Nebula Royal Family. No matter what, the Nebula Royal Family was the ruler of the Nebula Kingdom. He believed that there were many powerful warriors in the royal family. At the very least, there were many evolved warriors. If that was the case, why didn't the Nebula Royal Family send their evolved warriors to kill the purple-winged blood gold lion directly? Then, they could steal the beast core and refine it into a medicinal pellet. Why did they choose to invite warriors from all over to the Nebula Forest to kill the purple-winged blood gold lion? Wasn't it unnecessary? What was even more strange was that none of the big families in the Nebula Kingdom, including the Long family, had participated in the Princess Xixia's marriage this time. The warriors who entered the Nebula Forest came from all over the Nebula Forest. What was the Nebula Royal family planning? Did Princess Xixia of the Nebula Royal family really want to cure his father's illness? If she really wanted to, with Princess Xixia's status and identity in the royal family, it was more than enough to find a few powerful warriors to kill the purple-winged blood gold lion. Longao didn't know why, but he felt that there was something fishy about this. It was as if the Nebula Royal family was plotting something. No matter what the Nebula Royal family was plotting, Longao had decided that he would hunt down the purple-winged blood gold lion and refine it into a soul recovery pill. If he had this kind of medicinal pellet, he would be able to recover instantly when he was injured in battle. Nebula Forest. According to the news from the royal family, many people already knew the location of the purple-winged blood gold lion. When Longao arrived, he saw that the one-armed saber king and the purple-winged blood gold lion were fighting fiercely. There were many people around, watching the battle nervously. Everyone hoped that the one-armed saber king and the purple-winged blood gold lion would both be injured. Longao didn't move immediately. He just stood there quietly, watching the battle not far away. The one-armed saber king was ranked 77th in the 100 battle ranking list, only one rank higher than Man and Long. However, Longao clearly knew that the gap between the two was very big. Chapter 54. In the 100 battle ranking list, the difference in strength was huge. Longao was confident that he could defeat Lunatic Long, but not one-armed saber king. This was the difference between the 77th and 78th on the 100 battle ranking list. The purple-winged blood gold lion was blood-red with a pair of pure purple wings on its back. It was 2 meters tall and looked extremely powerful. However, one-armed saber king's strength was not to be underestimated. His saber did not fall. Longao was a little surprised by the saber momentum released by one-armed saber king. He deserved to be called a battle maniac. This momentum alone was enough to show disdain for all the warriors in the one-line sky. Momentum was the unique power of evolving warriors. However, there were exceptions to everything. Some warriors in the one-line sky or even in the 100 scatter sky could condense their own momentum under some kind of opportunity. However, this kind of momentum was somewhat different from the momentum of evolving warriors. After all, evolving warriors evolved their aperture acupoints, multiplied and condensed momentum, and integrated it into their own strength. There was no doubt that one-armed saber king could condense his own momentum in the one-line sky realm. This in itself showed his talent and potential, as well as his strength. The purple-winged blood gold lion's wings began to communicate with the surrounding thunder and lightning. Everyone could clearly feel that there was a manic aura fluctuating around. Under everyone's shocked gaze, the purple-winged blood gold lion's wings began to emit a strong power of thunder and lightning. The black-purple wings kept flapping, and a terrifying power of thunder and lightning kept attacking one-armed saber king. Because of this, one-armed saber king began to be unable to resist. Everyone around was attacked by the power of thunder and lightning released by the purple-winged blood gold lion. In order to protect themselves, they quickly fled in all directions. In the blink of an eye, they all disappeared without a trace. The purple-winged blood gold lion was a primordial spirit beast. Not only was it powerful, but it could also communicate with the power of thunder and lightning. Not to mention a warrior in the one-line sky, even an evolving master might not be able to kill it easily. Looking at one-armed saber king, who was being pressured step by step, Longao did not continue to watch the show. With a stride forward, Xiao Chen's body moved quickly. Before he arrived, he had already struck out with the yellow spring 9 consecutive strikes. One fist stacked on top of another. In an instant, the strength of the 9 consecutive strikes was stacked. The terrifying fist force smashed onto the lightning shield. One-armed knife king looked surprised, but he still said, "Break the purple-winged blood gold lion's thunder shield first." Nodding his head, Longao did not dare to be careless in the slightest. The wild draw blade appeared in his hand, and the frozen heart devourer quickly slashed out. The shocking saber radiance constantly struck the thunderbolt air shield. The two one-line sky warriors were top geniuses ranked 77th and 78th on the 100 battle ranking list. Once they joined forces, their power could be imagined. If you and I attack alone, it's impossible for us to break through the lightning shield. One-armed Saber King nodded his head in agreement and said, "All right, you and I will work together and attack with all our strength." Longao had a very good impression of this one-armed Saber King, who had a violent temperament and formidable strength. This kind of feeling was very peculiar, and people were often like this. "If we can kill the purple-winged blood gold lion this time, you and I will split it equally. What do you think?" Before attacking with all their strength, One-Armed Saber King explained how to divide the lion. Longao also agreed. After all, both of them had come for the purple-winged blood gold lion. If they joined forces to kill the purple-winged blood gold lion, it would not be worth it. Longao and One-Armed Saber King reached a certain level of tacit understanding in the shortest time possible. The two of them were like old friends who had been together for many years. They both used their most powerful attacks, concentrating on one point and attacking the purple-winged blood gold lion. The two one-line sky warriors used their most powerful attacks, which were like a flood and a storm, constantly superimposing their strength. Boom! The thunderbolt air shield on the purple-winged blood gold lion's body was instantly broken into pieces and disappeared. The purple-winged blood gold lion's most powerful attacks were its thunderbolt air shield and its thunder power. Now that the thunderbolt air shield had been broken, the purple-winged blood gold lion's body was brutally smashed to the ground, bleeding from its 7 orifices. It had been killed. So easy? Looking at the corpse on the ground, both Longao and One-Armed Saber King were stupefied. They had no idea what had just happened. Although the two of them were very confident in their own strength, they were not arrogant. They clearly knew how powerful the purple-winged blood gold lion was. Even if they joined forces, they would not be able to kill it so easily. The two of them looked at each other and saw the curiosity in each other's eyes. The two of them immediately started to check the purple-winged blood gold lion's body. After checking, they were both surprised. One-Armed Saber King coldly said, "So it was injured. Who injured the purple-winged blood gold lion but did not kill it?" The two of them were very curious about this. They knew that if the other party could injure the purple-winged blood gold lion, why did they give up on killing it? It did not make sense. "My name is Longao." One-Armed Saber King was Longao. Longao smiled and said, "My name is Longao. The two of us are really fated. Both of our names have the word Ao in them." Longao's face was cold and emotionless. He was like a zombie. He nodded and said, "Thank you very much. No matter what, the purple-winged blood gold lion has been killed by us. According to our agreement, we will each take half of the purple-winged blood gold lion. Half each." The purple-winged blood gold lion only had 3 things: its soul, its beast core, and its body. When Longao killed the purple-winged blood gold lion, he had silently taken its soul and given it to Long Fu in the dragon seal space. Because of this, Longao thought for a moment and said, "You can take the purple-winged blood gold lion's beast core and body." Longao seemed to be surprised. He did not choose immediately. Instead, he asked, "Longao, did you come to kill the purple-winged blood gold lion for the imperial family's Princess Zixia's marriage?" "No. Forgive me for asking, but why did you kill the purple-winged blood gold lion?" "To refine the spirit recovery pill." "You are an alchemist?" Longao seemed to be even more surprised. Only now did he carefully look at the young man in front of him. He had seen the young man's strength with his own eyes. He was very strong. Even he himself was not sure if he could defeat him. Longao seemed to have thought of something. He raised his voice and asked, "You are Longao, the one who defeated Crazy Long not long ago and entered the 100 battle ranking list?" "Yes, I am an alchemist. This time, I killed the purple-winged blood gold lion to get its beast core and refine the spirit recovery pill. But I still say the same thing. You can choose between the corpse and the beast core. Chapter 55. Kwang Ao did not make a decision immediately. After a moment of silence, Kwang Ao raised his head and asked, "If you can create the spirit recovery pill, how about giving me half of it?" Kwang Ao's request was a little overboard. After all, creating a spirit recovery pill was no easy task, let alone half of it. If it were any other pill refiner, they would have thrown a tantrum and stormed off. But Longao was not angry at all. Instead, he smiled and said, "No problem." Kwang Ao was even more surprised now. He had not expected Lin Fan to agree so quickly. After all, he knew what a spirit recovery pill meant. Even though Kwang Ao was arrogant, he was still a true martial artist. Nodding his head, he said, "Since that's the case, I'll give you the purple-winged blood gold lion's corpse and the beast's core. You're my friend now." Extending his only right hand, Kwang Ao's face was filled with sincerity. Naturally, Long Ao would not reject him. Extending his left hand as well, the both of them shook hands. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Even dark clouds started to gather. Long Ao had just collected the beast's core and was preparing to deal with the corpse when suddenly, a terrifying aura pressure came from all around. Even if the two of them were one-line sky martial artists, they were instantly suppressed by this aura and were unable to move. Before the two of them could react, a power of thunder and lightning as thick as an arm had already ruthlessly struck over. "Another purple-winged blood gold lion?" Hearing Kwang Ao's words, Long Ao's heart skipped a beat. Both of them knew each other, and could see the shock in each other's eyes. Not daring to be careless, both of them joined forces to defend against the aura. Buzz, buzz, buzz. An ear-piercing sound rang out. Following that, a purple-winged blood gold lion that was 6 to 7 meters tall strode towards them. In the blink of an eye, it had arrived. Purple-winged blood gold lion king. Purple-winged blood gold lion king? Although Long Ao didn't know what the purple-winged blood gold lion king was, he could clearly feel the power of the spiritual beast in front of him. Too strong. Even though Long Ao was confident in his own strength, he did not have the confidence to fight back against this purple-winged blood gold lion king. This was the result of the difference in strength. "Ha! Purple-winged blood gold lion king, you've finally come out!" Just as domineering arrogance and Long Ao were at a loss of what to do, 20 to 30 figures appeared from all directions and surrounded the purple-winged blood gold lion king. "Brother Long, let's go!" Seeing the sudden appearance of Ouyang Fei, Long Ao was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? Why would Ouyang Fei suddenly appear here? Could it be a coincidence? For some reason, Long Ao felt that he had fallen into a trap. No matter how many questions he had, Long Ao knew that in this situation, it was best to leave. Just like that, Long Ao and Domineering left with Ouyang Fei. As for what would happen next, they had no idea. Outside Nebula Forest. "Big Brother Ouyang, I hope you can answer me honestly. What is going on with the Imperial family's Princess Xia's groom's search?" "Humph, snakes and rats alike." As if he knew Domineering Arrogance's personality and temper, Ouyang Fei didn't care. He shook his head helplessly and said, "I didn't expect that Brother Long would come to kill the purple-winged blood gold lion king. If you had told me in advance, I would have helped you." Hearing Ouyang Fei's words, Long Ao was speechless. However, he didn't say anything. He just wanted to know what the Imperial family's intentions were. "This is supposed to be a secret, but since you and I are friends, I'll make an exception and tell you. However, this must not be spread out. Otherwise, Nebula Kingdom will fall into chaos." "Nebula Kingdom will fall into chaos?" Even Domineering Arrogance was curious. What was going on that would cause such a serious consequence? "Brother Long, I believe you know that Nebula Kingdom is only a vassal state of the Thunder Empire. If other families rise up, they can replace the Imperial family at any time." Ouyang Fei clenched his fists and said coldly, Nothing can happen to the imperial family. Because of this, every 10 years, the imperial family will join forces with other families to weaken the geniuses of other cities in Nebula Kingdom. This is to ensure that the imperial family's position is stabilized. In an instant, Longao and domineering arrogance understood the imperial family's intentions. They had to admit that the imperial family was ruthless. Big brother Ouyang, the imperial family is killing geniuses like this. Don't they want to rise up? Aren't they afraid of the other families in Nebula Kingdom? Of course they are afraid, but they can't do anything about it. However, the other families don't dare to rebel easily. As for not wanting to rise up, that's a lie. However, between rising up and protecting the imperial family, we choose the latter. Reality, this was the reality. As the ruler of Nebula Kingdom, the imperial family could kill geniuses at will. Countless families were kept in the dark. If it weren't for their strength, they would have been sacrificed as well. Big brother Ouyang, why are you telling me this? Because I know that a small Nebula Kingdom is not what you want. Brother Long, I only hope that when you become strong in the future, you can help the imperial family. I will be eternally grateful. In the end, Ouyang Fei was still interested in Longao's talent and potential. Otherwise, he wouldn't have cared about Longao's life. At this moment, Longao finally understood how terrifying this world was. The slightest carelessness could lead to eternal damnation. Chapter 56. At this moment, Longao's state of mind changed again. Longao knew that if he wanted to survive in this treacherous world, strength was important, but adaptability was equally important. It was precisely because of this that Longao imperceptibly had an additional hint of killing intent and coldness. He seemed to be praising Lin Fan as he said, "I have heard about your story. I have to say that you are indeed a special case. I am very surprised. 10 years ago, why couldn't you achieve an endless cycle of inner strength? I don't know either. This matter is indeed fishy, but I admire your perseverance and unwillingness to give up. Not everyone can be like you." Longao smiled and didn't say anything. Star Cloud City. There were 5 major forces in Star Cloud City. There were Star Cloud Royal Family, Level 5 Long Family, Miao Family, Chung Family, and Nagong Family. These 4 families kept each other in check, fighting openly and secretly to eliminate each other. Star Cloud Royal Family saw this and reaped the benefits. They let the 4 families keep each other in check to achieve the goal of strengthening the royal family. Star Cloud City, the most luxurious street. I have never seen such a beauty in so many years. Very good, very good, very good. The young master of Miao Family, Miao Yao, had a face that was neither male nor female. Together with his excellent figure, he looked like a transvestite. At this moment, Miao Yao was extremely excited. Miao Yao's talent and potential were good. He had already reached the 100 scattering heaven realm at a young age. However, Miao Yao was naturally lustful. He couldn't control himself when he saw someone. As a second generation with great strength, Miao Yao had been lawless since he was young. At this moment, Yuyin was no longer the fat woman she used to be. She was graceful and beautiful. How could Miao Yao not be moved by such a beauty? He couldn't stop looking at her. Get lost. Yuyin was famous for being a domineering woman in Scarlet Fire Town. Plus, she was a level 10 inner force martial artist. Her body emitted an aggressive aura. Oh? I like bold beauties. Come, let's exchange a few moves. I want to see how powerful you are. Miao Yao looked at Yuyin shamelessly. Both of her hands were already attacking rapidly. The surrounding crowd seemed to be used to this. Moreover, Miao Yao had the entire Miao family behind her. Her strength and background were obvious. Courting death. With Yuyin's personality, how could she just stand by and watch the other party tease her? With a roar, she formed a palm with one hand and fiercely struck out. 10th layer of internal force? Although Miao Yao was surprised, he became even more interested. He laughed crazily, and a strong innate aura pressed down from the sky. Wen Yuyin was only a warrior at the Hotian realm. How could she resist the aura of a Xiantian realm warrior? She felt as if she had been tied up. She was shocked and shouted, "Are you a Xiantian realm warrior? It's your honor to be trusted by a Xiantian martial artist. Even if I die, I won't be humiliated by you." Wang Yuyin was very clear in her heart that with her current strength, it was impossible for her to be the opponent's opponent. Once she was restrained, there was only one result, and that was to be humiliated by this transvestite. She would bite her tongue and commit suicide. Looking at the transvestite who had already restrained her, Yuyin stared coldly. Just when she was about to bite her tongue and commit suicide, a terrifying aura descended from the sky. "Damn transvestite, let go of my wife!" The terrifying aura of one-line sky was like a 10,000-pound boulder, directly pressing down on Miao Yao's body. He didn't know whether it was because he didn't expect it or because his body was weak, but he was directly pressed down by this aura and knelt on the ground. "Young master! Who the hell are you? How dare you provoke my young master?" Longao, who had descended from the sky, had an unsightly expression on his face. Murderous aura overflowed from his body. He did not give the Miao family's servants the opportunity to continue shouting. His imposing manner was oppressive. "Kacha, Kacha," several servants were beheaded. "You killed my servants?" Miao Yao didn't dare to move and obediently knelt on the ground. This was because he had clearly sensed that the other party was actually a one-line sky warrior. In the eyes of one-line sky, 100 scattering sky was like a child in the eyes of an adult, not worth mentioning. "How dare you humiliate my wife? Die!" Looking at her lover who had descended from the sky, Yu Yin's eyes were filled with happiness. Just when Longao was about to kill Miao Yao, domineering sky suddenly stopped him and shook his head. "Miao family. Miao family," just 2 simple words, but the meaning behind it was extremely simple. As one of the 5 giants of Star Cloud City, Miao family's foundation and strength were obvious. However, would Longao easily let off someone who tried to humiliate his woman? "Brat, I am the young master of Miao family. If you dare to kill me, Miao family will definitely not let you off." Looking at the youth who was overflowing with killing intent, Miao Yao shouted in horror. "You can't kill me. Otherwise, no matter who you are, my Miao family will not let you off." Snorting coldly, Longao naturally didn't have a good impression of this kind of second generation. "You can escape death, but you can't escape punishment." Under Miao Yao's horrified gaze, Longao's body moved. "Kacha, Kacha!" exclamations came from all around. This was because Miao Yao had 2 arms and a tongue chopped off in front of everyone's eyes. "Whoa! Coldly looking at the stammering and speechless transvestite, Longao said in an extremely cold voice, "Don't think that just because you have Miao family as your backing, you can do whatever you want. Today, I will punish you lightly as a warning. If I see you again in the future, I will definitely kill you." Not caring about the consequences, Longao pulled Wang Yuyin's hand and the 3 of them quickly left. Until now, the surrounding crowd still hadn't reacted. The Miao family second generation who had always been lawless actually had his tongue and arms cut off. How was this possible? Inside the restaurant. "Yuyin, why did you come to Star Cloud City?" His face was filled with worry because Wang Yuyin already knew the transvestite's identity. He was one of the 5 giants of Star Cloud City, the young master of Miao family. Not to mention Miao Yao's strength, just the Miao family's strength and foundation was not something they could contend against. "I was worried about you, so I wanted to come and see. Longao, we offended the Miao family. Will we be in big trouble?" No matter how strong a woman was, once she was protected by the person she loved, she would become a little girl. Even Yuyin was no exception. Smiling comfortingly, Longao said, "You don't need to ask too much about this matter. After eating, immediately leave Star Cloud City. Remember, don't come back so easily. Once I'm done with the matters here, I will come back to find you. Do you understand? Don't chase me away. I want to stay and advance and retreat together with you. We will live and die together." "Yuyin, I know you are worried about me, but I don't want anything to happen to you. I hope you can understand that I will send you away later. Chapter 57. Seeing that Longao had made up his mind, Yuen let out a deep sigh and did not say anything more. During this time, Yuen asked a lot of questions about the Sky Cloud sect, but she did not get any answers. After all, in Longao's opinion, what a man should do was to resist all difficulties and not let anything happen to his woman. After the meal, Longao personally escorted Yuen out of Star Cloud City. Looking at the figure that was gradually disappearing, Longao was also reluctant. However, he was clear that the Miao family would not let him off easily after punishing the demon from the Miao family. If Yuen stayed here, she would face the Miao family's revenge together with him. He loved her, and could not let her be in danger. If you offend the Miao family, you will have a hard time in Star Cloud City. Those who dare to provoke me will be killed. His state of mind had changed. Unknowingly, Longao had a murderous and cold aura. If not for Yuen by his side, he would not have punished her lightly. I will face it together with you. How could Longao not know what Kwangao was thinking? He shook his head and said, I will not drag you down. Let's part here. If fate allows, we will meet again. Kwangao seemed to want to say something, but was stopped by Longao. He said simply, If you treat me as a friend, please respect my decision. Taking a deep look at the young man beside him, Kwangao finally nodded. However, he still said, Longao, you are my friend. I will not leave you alone. If you need anything, just say the word and I will be there at any time. No words were needed to express everything. After provoking the Miao family, Longao didn't leave Star Cloud City because he knew very well that once he left Star Cloud City and the Miao family couldn't find him, they would definitely point their spear at his family. With the strength of his family, could they withstand the revenge of the Miao family? Because of this, Longao chose to stay in the end, even if he had to face the revenge of the entire Miao family. As soon as he returned to Star Cloud City, Longao was stopped by a man who looked somewhat similar to Miao Yao. It was Miao He, the genius of the Miao family who came for revenge. He was also ranked 82nd on the 100 battle ranking. Are you Longao? When Miao Yao was carried back to the family, the entire Miao family was completely shocked. For so many years, no one had ever dared to do anything to the Miao family. After all, the Miao family's foundation and strength in Star Cloud City was there for all to see. If an ordinary person provoked the Miao Yao, the Miao family would definitely kill the other party. However, the situation was slightly different. The freak from the Long family in the Red Fire town had become a genius from a good-for-nothing in just a few months. With a counterattack, he had entered the 78th place on the 100 battle ranking list. In our battle, life and death will be up to fate. I hope that this matter will not implicate our families. No problem. You and I will have a battle of life and death 10 days later outside the palace. I hope you won't be scared away. Other than contempt, in Miao He's eyes, this trash in front of him was not his opponent at all. Looking at Miao He who had already left, Ouyang Fei was a little worried. He said, Brother Long, I know that you're confident that you can defeat Miao He. However, you don't know that 3 years ago, with the help of the Miao family, Miao He captured a Xiantian spiritual beast. When the man and the beast worked together, their strength doubled. Unless it's an evolved expert, no one in One-Line Sky could be Miao He's opponent. Spiritual beast? Longao was very curious. He asked, Brother Ouyang, since Miao He is so powerful, why is he only ranked 82nd on the 100 battle ranking list? Invincible under evolution? In that case, why was Miao He ranked so low, even behind lunatic Long and domineering arrogance? Brother Long, you don't know that to pursue the 100 battle ranking list, you can't rely on the help of spiritual beasts. You have to rely on your own strength. Therefore, although Miao He has the help of spiritual beasts, he can't use them to get a higher rank. So that was it. Longao did not flinch because of this. Otherwise, he would not have come this far. With a determined face, he said, I will definitely defeat Miao-he. Although Ouyang Fei did not spend much time with Longao, he knew his character very well. After all, it was impossible for ordinary people to persist for 10 years. Ouyang Fei nodded and said, I will be there in 10 days. Brother Long, no matter you win or lose, I will support you unconditionally. Chapter 58. Of course, Longao knew what Ouyang Fei meant. 10 days later, there would be a battle to the death. Because of this, Longao did not leave Star Cloud City. Instead, he found an inn and stayed there for the time being. Master, I have finished refining the purple-winged blood gold lion. I will transfer it into your body bit by bit later. Longao nodded. He was very happy. With Long Fu and the blood pool in the dragon seal space, no matter what spirit beast's soul was, as long as it was placed in the blood pool, it would be refined into pure energy. Relying on this pure power, his cultivation could continue to increase. However, Longao knew that he couldn't absorb the power of the purple-winged blood gold lion all at once. Otherwise, if he wasn't careful, he would explode and die. He did not think about cultivating. After all, it was almost impossible to break through his current realm in a short period of time. Longao had already obtained the purple-winged blood gold lion's beast core. He also bought all the materials needed to refine the spirit recovery pill. He rented the entire inn so that no one would disturb him. Below the huge pill furnace, there was a raging fire. Longao first placed the beast core into the pill furnace and began to refine. Longao knew that he only had one chance. He only had one purple-winged blood gold lion's beast core. If he failed, he would not be able to refine it again. Therefore, he was very careful and focused. Perhaps he was an alchemy genius, but Longao only took half an hour to successfully refine the core embryo. Then, he put in all the materials and started refining the spirit recovery pill. The next day, early morning, the news that Longao had challenged the Miao family's genius, Miao-he, had spread throughout Star Cloud City. With the Miao family's deliberate promotion, everyone despised Longao. They thought that this brat from Thunder Cloud City did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. He wanted to challenge the Miao family's genius? However, it was unknown who spread Longao's deeds, but it was also known by everyone. In just a few months, he had reached the primordial realm and entered the 78th place in the 100 battle ranking list. He was even 4 places higher than Miao-he. What did that mean? However, Miao-he's human beast unite was too powerful. If it were not for the fact that the 100 battle ranking list did not allow people to borrow the power of spirit beasts, Miao-he's ranking on the 100 battle ranking list would continue to rise. He would definitely surpass the 78th place. It was precisely because of this that no one was optimistic about Longao's chances. They believed that Longao was just seeking his own death in this battle. Longao didn't care about the disdain and contempt of others. He had been able to endure the humiliation for 10 whole years, let alone now. Longao, the Patriarch wants to see you. Senior Longamo now? Only those above the 3rd level can enter the Dragon Valley and awaken their bloodline. They can also find their own partners and become the most powerful existence on the continent, the Dragon Warrior. Longao did not know what Longing was talking about. Only the 3rd level Long family members could enter the Dragon Valley and find their own partners to become the Dragon Warrior. Dragons were the most powerful existence on Earth. No wonder the Long family could become the most powerful force on the continent. Senior, please tell me what you want to say. All right. All the Long families below rank 3 all hope for a dragon warrior to appear in their family. That way, they might be able to lead their family into the Long family. The reason I'm looking for you this time is to let you give it a try. Try what? Not many people know about this. A month ago, I accidentally found a passage to enter the Dragon Valley. However, this is a serious matter. If the Long family knows about it, all of us will die. In an instant, Longao knew what longing meant. Could it be that he wanted him to enter the Dragon Valley? Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew what it meant to enter the Dragon Valley without the permission of the Long clan. After all, Longing had just said that only those of the Long clan who had reached level 3 or above could enter the Dragon Valley to find their own partners. Once he entered the Dragon Valley, he would definitely attract trouble. Chapter 59. Long Family. Only a rank 3 Long family and above could enter the Dragon Valley to look for companions. A rank 5 Long family did not have the right to enter the Dragon Valley. Longao was also surprised at Long Ying's luck to be able to find the passage into the Dragon Valley. Longao understood Long Ying's thoughts. After all, the Dragon Valley was too tempting to resist. Once a disciple became a dragon warrior, not only would he be able to soar to the sky, he would also be able to lead his family to a higher level. Opportunities and risks coexisted. If one was not careful, they would be doomed. Longao, back then, due to some kind of fortuitous encounter, the old ancestor of our Long clan had an agreement with the ancestor of the Dragon Valley. As long as a disciple of the Dragon clan's bloodline entered the Dragon Valley, they would not be attacked. Longao naturally understood this point. Senior, I would like to ask, how many Dragon Valleys are there in the continent? 1 Dragon Valley. I have also carefully studied this passage. If I am not mistaken, this passage should have been forcefully opened by someone. After such a long time, only 3 people can enter the passage. Senior, forgive me for asking, but since only 3 people can enter the Dragon Valley, why would you give me one of the slots? Longao had never believed in free lunches. He also knew how important the slots to enter the Dragon Valley were. Would a rank 5 Long family give him one so easily? If he chose to believe it so easily, he would really be a fool. Longao, I believe you are a straightforward person. Since that is the case, I will not beat around the bush. Here comes the main topic. I will give you one of the 3 slots. When you enter the Dragon Valley, regardless of whether you live or die, it has nothing to do with me or my family. If you can become a dragon warrior, you only need to promise me one thing. How about it? Straightforward. Although Longao did not like this kind of realistic answer, he admired Long Ying's straightforwardness. Tell me. If you can become a dragon warrior, no matter where you go in the future, you must not forget my Long family. You must think of a way to bring us to a rank 3 Long family. How about it? As long as you agree, I will give you a slot to enter the Dragon Valley. Longao did not answer immediately. As for Longing, he did not chase after him. Helping the Long family to become a Long family of the 5th rank? That's right, if anything happens to us, you have to help us. Longao glared at Longing. He knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him. If he missed it, who knew how long he would have to wait to enter the Dragon Valley? Senior, I have a question for you. If the 3 of us enter the Dragon Valley, will it automatically close? Longao was not a fool. Outside the Imperial family, don't know when, a very large life and death arena had already been built. Not only the Imperial family, even the other 4 great families were all present. They all wanted to see this battle. Everyone in the Miao family had confidence written all over their faces, as if they did not put Longao in their eyes at all. On the life and death arena, Longao and Miao He stared at each other. Both of them were emitting a strong fighting spirit. Before the battle started, the 2 fighting spirits were already colliding fiercely. Beside Miao He stood a tall black wolf. The Wind Demon Wolf was a sentient spiritual beast. Its speed and attack power were very strong. It was because of this Wind Demon Wolf that Miao He was able to stand in an invincible position in one-line sky. On the wall of the Imperial Palace, a middle-aged man in a yellow robe asked with a faint smile, "Fei, is this the Longao that you strongly recommended?" At this moment, Ouyang Fei stood respectfully and said, "Father, this is Longao. After 10 years of persistence and hard work, he finally made a comeback. In just a few months he has grown to such a level. Father, this boy's talent and potential are really amazing. If we can use him, I believe it will be of great help to the Imperial Palace. Help? The Emperor of Star Cloud smiled. No one knew what his expression meant. Ouyang Fei did not dare to continue. Chapter 60. Longao, don't say that I'm bullying you. If you have a spirit beast companion, you can summon it now. Shameless and despicable. Hearing Miaohe's words, everyone despised him in their hearts. After all, everyone knew that Miaohe had a spirit beast companion and was almost invincible in one-line sky. But that was the reality. You talk too much. Longao, you're really arrogant. In 10 moves, I'll let you know how big the gap between our strength is. Before Miaohe could finish his words, Longao had already made his move. With a stride forward, his body had already dashed out. Before he even arrived, the powerful, mysterious heavenly finger had already pierced through space. Miaohe did not panic in the slightest. With his bare hands, he attacked the demonic wind wolf from both sides. The demonic wind wolf's speed was very fast. One could only see a series of afterimages. It had already arrived behind Longao. From the left and back, it became a pincer attack. The combination of man and beast was already a great advantage. But in this man-eat-man world, the winner was the king and the loser was the bandit. As long as you won, who would look down on you? Not daring to be careless, Longao dodged sideways. Yellow Spring 9 consecutive strikes. 9 fist lights overlapped and instantly gathered into a powerful fist energy. Longao's speed was also very fast. The powerful fist energy ruthlessly smashed onto the demonic wind wolf. But because the demonic wind wolf's speed was too fast, the fist energy seemed to have hit the demonic wind wolf, but in fact, it hit the afterimage left behind by the demonic wind wolf. The demonic wind wolf's speed was simply too fast. Watching the life and death battle on the arena of life and death, countless people below the arena of life and death held their breaths. Their eyes were glued to the battle, afraid that they would miss a trace of it. On the Imperial City wall. Fonger, think of a way to win this kid over. Hearing his Imperial father's words, Ouyang Fei seemed a little surprised. He nodded and said, Understood, Imperial Father. The battle on the arena of life and death had escalated rapidly. A single move was ever-changing. In just 3 moves, it was as if they had fought for 30 moves. The slightest carelessness could lead to eternal damnation. Longao, you will die today. In just 3 moves, Longao already knew the might of the beast and man working together. The wild devouring saber appeared in his hand and he executed the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. 9 saber lights quickly overlapped and instantly chopped out. Shocking saber lights streaked across the sky. The startling saber lights still struck nothing. In the end, it was because Miaohe and the Wind Demon Wolf were too fast and could only strike afterimages. Speed. Longao knew very well that there was only one way to defeat the human and beast alliance, and that was to use speed to overcome speed. However, could his speed suppress his opponent's speed? If it was just Miaohe, Longao was confident that he could defeat him within 10 moves. However, with the addition of the demonic wind wolf, the situation changed completely. After all, with the demonic wind wolf, he could not attack Miaohe wholeheartedly. Longao was even more clear about one thing, and that was that as the battle continued to escalate, the chances of him losing would be very high. Since the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes did not succeed in defeating his opponent, Longao then used the second style of the Wild Devouring 8 styles, Frozen Heart Devouring. The surroundings were instantly sealed by the terrifying saber light. Because of this, although the demonic wind wolf and Miaohe were fast, it seemed difficult for them to win with speed. However, it would not be easy for Longao to win with the Wild Devouring 8 styles. Frozen Heart Devouring. The saber light scattered in all directions. As Miaohe and the Wind Demon Wolf were careless, the saber light instantly invaded their bodies. The horrifying thing about heart-sealing ice was that once it invaded one's body, it would immediately devour one's soul and heart meridians. Miaohe was shocked. he and the demonic wind wolf slowed down and used 1/3 of their strength to resist the saber light that was devouring their soul and heart. Longao was most afraid of the human and beast speed. Since Miao He and the demonic wind wolf had slowed down, it gave him a rare opportunity. Holding the wild devouring saber, he slashed again and again. Each slash was stronger than the previous one, and the saber light continued to stack on the life and death arena. The sudden reversal of the battle caused everyone to be unable to react. In everyone's hearts, they had always believed that Miao He and the demonic wind wolf could easily defeat their opponent. But now, the battle had been reversed. Under everyone's astonished gaze, the blood-sucking blade in Longao's hand was like the arrival of the Grim Reaper. Not to mention Miao He and the Wind Demon Wolf, even the people around the life and death arena were sweating cold sweat for the man and beast. Demonic Wind Wolf, Whirlwind Slash! Miao He was also forced back step by step. On one hand, he had to deal with the saber light that was devouring him, while on the other, he had to deal with the saber light that was coming from his opponent. Under these two attacks, Miao He was forced to use his most powerful move, Whirlwind Slash. Miao He could not use Whirlwind Slash alone. He had to join hands with the demonic wind wolf. The wild devouring 8 styles consisted of the first style, Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, and the second style, Frozen Heart Devouring. Longao circulated the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique, gathering all his strength in his hands and fiercely using the first 2 styles of the wild devouring 8 styles. The clash of the strongest moves. Longao's wild devouring 8 styles, Miao He and the demonic wind wolf's whirlwind slash. As if knowing what was about to happen, everyone around the life and death stage took a step back. There were even some victors who immediately turned around and left. After all, this was the clash of the strongest martial artists in the one-line sky. Just the aura alone was very likely to injure ordinary people. On the Imperial Palace's wall, Emperor Xingyun's eyes shone with a golden light as he watched the young man single-handedly resisting the joint attack of Miao He and the demonic wind wolf. His face was full of admiration and anticipation. After all, the reversal of the battle was something that anyone would look forward to. Fonger, go and inform the Miao family. No matter who wins or loses this battle, or if there are deaths, the Miao family is not allowed to intervene. They are also not allowed to seek revenge on the Longao family. Otherwise, they will incur the wrath of the Imperial Palace. Ouyang Fei was even more surprised. However, he understood his Imperial father's understanding. His Imperial father was already paying attention to Longao. He was even willing to offend the Miao family for this person. However, no matter what, Longao was someone he strongly recommended. The better he was, the more advantageous it would be for him. On the life and death stage, both sides had already used their strongest moves. From the beginning of the battle until now, only 5 moves had passed. However, both sides seemed to be unable to wait any longer and wanted to end the battle quickly. When Miao He and the demonic wind wolf used their strongest move, Whirlwind Slash, the demonic wind wolf's speed soared to the maximum. Even his afterimage could not be seen. He began to spin around Longao. At this time, whirlwind-shaped blade lights slashed from all directions. On the other hand, Longao used one blade to meet 10,000 blades. Longao's wild devouring 8 styles turned into endless blade lights, forming a blade light chi shield around him. The blade lights from both sides fiercely collided. Sparks flew in all directions, and the aura dispersed. If the Imperial Palace had not been prepared and sent experts to set up a chi shield, just the scattered blade lights alone would have been enough to harm the innocent bystanders. Chapter 61. Endless Whirlwind Slash. Shocking Blade Chi Shroud. The two continued to collide. Longao and Miao He both used their strongest moves. It could be said that victory or defeat would be decided by this move. Pressure was the driving force. Under the constant pressure, Longao borrowed the power that Long Fu continuously transmitted to him, and began to fill his acupuncture points with spiritual energy. A martial artist had a total of 108 acupuncture points. When they were completely filled with spiritual energy, they would reach the so-called one-line sky peak. Next, they would have to condense their own force and evolve it to become a martial artist. Previously, Longao had relied on his own efforts and some pills to fill 12 acupuncture points with spiritual energy. But now, in just a few minutes, relying on Long Fu's power and the constant pressure, his spiritual energy had filled 12 acupuncture points, which was a total of 24 acupuncture points. The rapid increase in strength caused Longao's blood-sucking blade to release even more shocking blade rays. Force. The unique force of a martial artist. However, the force condensed by a martial artist in one-line sky was different from the force condensed by a martial artist in one-line sky. But even so, a martial artist in one-line sky could condense force. Not to mention their strength, just their aura alone was enough to give them a huge advantage. Force. Sensing the force released by the other party, Miao He looked as if he had seen a ghost and exclaimed, "Force?" Below the life and death arena, 99% of the people didn't know the force that Miao He spoke of, but the martial artists were very clear. They all looked at the youth in horror. No one believed that the youth could condense the force of a martial artist in one-line sky realm. With the reversal of force, Longao began to gradually turn the tables. The blood-sucking blade in his hand continuously used the first move, Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, and the second move, Heart-devouring ice. Just as Miao He was shocked, Longao seized the rare opportunity and used himself as bait to rush out. Using Heart-devouring ice, the terrifying blade rays continuously invaded Miao He's body. The horrifying knife light kept devouring Miao He's heart and soul. Under normal circumstances, Miao He and the Wind Demon Wolf would have been able to resist the knife light's devouring. But now, Longao wouldn't give them any chance. Just as they were trying their best to resist the devouring blade light, Longao made his move. The Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. 9 saber lights instantly overlapped and converged into a shocking saber light. Then, it ruthlessly chopped down on the man and the beast. While everyone was crying out in shock, Miao He and the Wind Fiend Wolf were instantly cut in half by the shocking saber light. Killing Miao He and the Wind Fiend Wolf in one strike left everyone dumbfounded. However, he didn't kneel. Ouyang Feng didn't mind. After all, the one-line sky warriors were already considered to have surpassed the secular world. "Come, sit. There's no need to be polite." "Thank you, Your Majesty." "Longao, I heard from Feng that you have become sworn brothers with him. If that's the case, if you don't mind, you can call me Uncle Ouyang in the future." "Uncle Ouyang?" Longao was very surprised. He couldn't understand why the Star Cloud Emperor was so nice to him. Was it because of his talent and strength? It didn't seem like it. After all, there were many geniuses and powerful warriors in the Star Cloud Imperial family. Although he was puzzled, since the other party had already said so, how could he not give face? Whether it was because of the other party's identity, or because of Ouyang Fei, Longao could only call out, "Uncle Ouyang." "Good. Longao, you can rest assured. Even if you kill Miao He, the Miao family won't find trouble with you. It's even better if they don't find trouble with your family. Before you came, I thought about it. From now on, you will officially join the National Guard Hall as a member of the National Guard. Imperial Father, shouldn't we consider this matter at length?" Hearing his Imperial Father's decision, Ouyang Fei was shocked. It wasn't because he didn't want Longao to join the National Guard Hall. It was because the National Guard Hall's National Guard Hall was basically an evolved warrior. There had never been a one-line sky warrior that joined the National Guard Hall to become a National Guard. Waving his hand, Ouyang Fei said, "I've made up my mind. Longao, the National Guard Hall of the Star Cloud Kingdom is the strongest force in the kingdom. It's also the pillar of the kingdom. I hope you can join the National Guard Hall and display your strength." Chapter 62. National Guard Hall? Although Longao didn't know what the National Guard Hall was, he knew that it wasn't simple. Uncle Ouyang, how am I qualified to enter the National Guard Hall? Longao, believe in yourself. Don't worry, the National Guard Hall won't restrict your freedom. As long as the kingdom is in trouble, you can appear in time. Brother Long promised father. In Longao's heart, he really didn't want to enter the National Guard Hall. But after thinking about it, as long as the National Guard Hall didn't restrict his freedom, then there was no harm in entering. In that case, thank you very much, Uncle Ouyang. Ouyang Fei looked very happy. Then, the two chatted for a while. Longao got up and left. Father, Longao's talent and potential are very good. But with his current strength, if he enters the National Guard Hall, I'm afraid that the other Imperial protectors will be very dissatisfied. At that time, he will be in a lot of trouble. Ouyang Feng only smiled at the worry on his son's face and said, Longao is still young. Without experience, he won't be able to grow. Maybe this person will be the future of our kingdom. Feng'er, you must make friends with this person. Yes, father. After leaving the side chamber, Longao didn't want to stay in the Imperial Palace any longer. At this time, two girls came out from the side. The girl walking in front was wearing a light purple dress. Her delicate facial features matched with an excellent figure. She stood there without smiling. She was a beauty through and through. Longao. Hearing her call his name, Longao was very surprised. He asked, Who are you? How dare you not kneel down when you see Princess Xixia? Princess Xixia? Longao was very surprised. Looking at the beautiful girl in front of him, he didn't think that this girl was Princess Xixia. She was the princess who killed the geniuses for the imperial family. Longao didn't have a good impression of this Princess Xixia. He indifferently asked, What is the matter with Princess Xixia? Seeing the other party's ice-cold and distant expression, Ouyang Xixia was very surprised. Because of her status and beauty, as long as it was a man, they would all look at her with a pitiful expression, wanting nothing more than to kneel down. Nothing, I just wanted to get to know you. Now that we know each other, I'm sorry, but I have something important to do, so I'll take my leave first. Looking at the youth who was quickly leaving, Ouyang Xixia's face was filled with indifference. Both of her fists were tightly clenched. Suddenly, Ouyang Xixia sneered and said to herself, Truly arrogant. Longao, you just wait for this princess. In the future, I will make you kneel in front of me and beg me. Longao did not return to the inn after leaving the imperial palace as fast as he could. Instead, he headed straight for the rank 5 Long family. Longing was nervous too. After all, this was a matter of life and death for his family. If this was leaked out, not only him, but the entire family would be destroyed. The 3 people who entered the Dragon Valley were Long Ji from the Long family, Long Ming, and Long Ao. As for Long Ming, he was an evolved warrior and ranked 70th on the 100 battle ranking. One could imagine how powerful and talented Long Ming was. According to Long Ying, the cultivation of the people who entered the Dragon Valley could not be higher than the evolutionary level. Moreover, among the 3 people, there could only be 1 evolutionary level martial artist. Otherwise, if all 3 evolutionary level martial artists entered the Dragon Valley, they would be discovered by the Dragon Valley immediately. Rank 5 Long family, in an extremely secluded secret room. Longing opened the Dragon Valley passage and said in a serious voice, This time, the 3 of you entered the Dragon Valley. Whether you live or die has nothing to do with the family. Remember, if you are discovered by the Dragon Valley, you will bear the consequences. Hearing Long Ying's words, Long Ao was very unhappy. However, he knew clearly that this was the cruel reality. This Dragon Valley passage can only be maintained for a month. After a month, if you are unable to return successfully, you will have to stay in the Dragon Valley forever. From then on, this passage will be completely sealed and no one will be able to open it. The 3 of you are on your own. Let's go. Long Ji, Long Ming, and Long Ao did not continue to hesitate. Although entering the Dragon Valley was dangerous, it was also full of opportunities. Once they successfully found a partner, they could become a dragon warrior and soar to the sky. Looking at the black passage in front of him, Longing seemed to be looking forward to it. After all, if the family could produce a dragon warrior, the family would have a chance to become a rank 3 Long family in the future. What kind of concept was this? In the Black Passage. The Black Passage was actually a large-scale teleportation array. It was created by a super genius of the Long clan in the past. He had used a great divine ability to forcefully open up a space and set up a teleportation array. It was extremely far away, and it would only take about an hour to reach it. As for the teleportation, the three of them did not know what was going on. But the three of them who entered the Black Passage could only wait quietly for the teleportation. They only felt a wave of aura spreading in all directions, as if they were riding on clouds. Red Fire Town's Long family's top genius 10 years ago. For some reason, he could not condense his inner strength and was reduced from a genius to a useless person. He endured all kinds of humiliation and ridicule. He persevered for 10 whole years and did not give up. A few months ago, he suddenly rose up. Along the way, it was hard to believe. Now, he is 78th on the 100 battle ranking. Listening to Long Ji's narration, Longao did not speak. Long Ming, who was born arrogant, always had an expression of a giant thousands of miles away. He said coldly, "Longao, I look forward to the day you break through to the evolution realm. At that time, I will officially challenge you. I hope you won't disappoint me." Okay. Longao did not retreat because the other party was an evolution realm expert. A strong fighting spirit also rose from his body, causing Long Ji to stick out his tongue and stay by the side obediently, not daring to say anything. Among the three of them, the strongest was undoubtedly Long Ming. Next was Longao, and last was Long Ji. Half an hour later, the three of them had already appeared in a huge forest. The three of them knew very well that they had arrived at their destination, which was the so-called Dragon Valley. Purple-winged dragon. Hearing Long Ji's exclamation, Longao and Long Ming looked over. It was true. Above the 9th heaven, a huge purple dragon that was more than 10 meters long flew past. It covered the sky and the sun, and a powerful dragon's breath came from all directions. If the three of them had not blocked it in time, they believed that just this dragon's breath alone would have been enough to crush them to death. What a terrifying dragon. Giant dragons were the most powerful existence in the world. Long family could become the top existence in the continent. 80% of the reason why Long family could become the top existence in the continent was because the Long family had the Dragon Valley as their backing. Moreover, there was an endless stream of dragon warriors. This was also the real reason why the Long family had never declined for countless years. Second brother Longao, should we split up now or work together? Chapter 63. The Dragon Valley is too mysterious and powerful for us. For safety's sake, I suggest we move together. I have no problem with that. The three of them quickly reached a consensus. They did not dare to stay in the same place for too long. Out of the 4 directions, the three of them chose to head east. The Dragon Valley was the most powerful existence in the world. The Dragon Valley was also the most mysterious place in the mainland. The three of them had never thought that they would be able to enter the Dragon Valley. It would be a lie to say that they were not excited. However, the three of them knew that entering the Dragon Valley this time was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them. If they grasped it, they would be able to soar into the sky once they succeeded. Not only would they become dragon warriors, but they would also pave the way for their future. If they did not grasp it, they would not be able to become dragon warriors, let alone become dragon warriors in the future. There would only be one outcome, and that was to die in the Dragon Valley. The Dragon Valley only allowed disciples of the Long family who were 3rd level and above. They could only enter the Dragon Valley with permission. Once they were found out that they had entered the Dragon Valley, they believed that neither the Dragon Valley nor the Long family would let them off easily. It was because of this that the three of them were extremely careful. They were even more alert as they walked forward step by step, afraid that they would meet with danger and die in the Dragon Valley. Longao, Longji, listen carefully. When we enter the Dragon Valley this time, try not to provoke the giant dragons, even if they are small dragons. There is only one thing we need to do, and that is to find the dragon eggs. Longji did not seem to understand and asked, Second brother, aren't we entering the Dragon Valley to find a partner and become dragon warriors? No, even if we can find a suitable partner, we will be discovered by the Dragon Valley and the high-level Long family sooner or later. So we must find the dragon eggs. Only then can we be safe. Dragon eggs? Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew that it was easier said than done to find a suitable dragon egg. However, he also knew that Long Ming was right. Long Ji and Longao did not say anything, but their expressions were slightly serious. Just like that, the three of them began to search for the dragon eggs aimlessly. As for the Dragon Valley, it was simply too big. It could be said that it was boundless. At a glance, there were dense forests everywhere. Boom! Sensing that the entire ground was trembling, the three of them were shocked. At this moment, not far away in the 9 heavens, 2 gigantic dragons were engaged in a frenzied battle. Thunder Dragon, Earth-shattering dragon. Long Ming, could it be that the dragons in the Dragon Valley also have different levels? Nodding, Long Ming said, Of course. There are countless dragons in the Dragon Valley. There are earth dragons, gold dragons, thunder dragons, red dragons, blue dragons, and so on. These dragons are divided into different levels and have a strict hierarchy. As for how they are divided, I don't know. Dragons were indeed the strongest existences in the world. Just a battle between the 2 dragons in the 9 heavens was enough to shock the world. Longao had a feeling that both the Thunder Dragon and the Earth Splitter Dragon were powerful enough to destroy the entire Star Cloud Kingdom. It was no wonder that the Long family could dominate the continent. Setting aside the foundation and power of the Long family, just the Dragon Valley alone was enough to dominate the world. Second brother, let's leave quickly. The aura of the battle between the 2 dragons was enough to crush them to death. Long Shi naturally did not want to die here. Fear was written all over his face. Of course, Long Ming would not stay there. Longao, let's go. You guys go first. I want to continue watching the battle between the 2 dragons. What did you say? Hearing Longao's words, the 2 of them looked like they had seen a ghost. Surprise was written all over their faces. He wanted to watch the battle between the 2 dragons. Was the other party crazy? Longji said. The fish in the moat are implicated. We entered the Dragon Valley this time to look for companions, not to watch the dragons fight. Let's go. Waving his hand, Longao did not say anything. His eyes were focused on the battle between the 2 dragons in the 9 heavens. Longji seemed to want to say something, but Long Ming said coldly, Since he insists on staying, let's not force him. Longji, let's go. Cerebral palsy. Ignoring Longji and Long Ming's departure, Longao focused on the battle between the 2 dragons in the 9 heavens. This was because he found that the battle between the 2 dragons could be integrated into his moves. This way, whether it was the mysterious heavenly finger or the blood-drinking 8 styles, their power would increase. Boom! The aura of the 2 dragons spread in all directions. The terrifying aura pressed down on them from all directions. Longao did not dare to be careless and immediately dodged. But in the end, he was still affected by the aura. With a muffled groan, his body flew out. In midair, he forcefully flipped over and stopped. A trace of blood seeped out of the corner of his mouth. What a powerful aura! Not daring to stay any longer, Longao turned and left quickly. In the shortest amount of time, Longao caught up with the 2 of them. But at this time, a terrifying aura pressed down on them from behind. The 3 of them turned around and were shocked. Longao, what have you done? Without giving the 3 of them any chance to speak, the 2 dragons began to attack the 3 of them crazily with endless anger. Just the aura of the powerful dragons was enough to crush the three of them to death. The three of them were well aware of this. Plop, plop, plop. The three of them were directly suppressed by the powerful aura released by the two dragons and fell into a black hole. They did not even have time to scream before they fainted. After some time, the three of them gradually woke up. Longji let out a scream and scolded fiercely. Longao, if you continue like this, I'll King kill you. Just you? Alright, let's talk about this later. We survived this disaster. I hope we can find the dragon eggs later. Long Ming's eyes stared straight in front of him. He even made the sound of drooling. Long Ao and Long Ji were very confused. They did not know what was wrong with Long Ming now. The two of them followed Long Ming's gaze and were completely stunned. Not far in front of the three of them, there were two dragon eggs the size of rubber balls. Dragon eggs? The main reason they entered the Dragon Valley this time was to find the dragon eggs and become dragon warriors. Now that they finally saw two dragon eggs, how could the three of them not be excited? The three of them immediately became vigilant. There were only two dragon eggs in the cave, but there were three of them. In other words, among the three of them, it was destined that none of them would be able to get the dragon eggs. But who would be willing to give up? It was likely that none of the three of them would be willing to give up the dragon eggs. It was because of this that Long Ji, Long Ming, and Long Ao suddenly moved. They rushed out as fast as they could. Not only that, Long Ji and Long Ming joined forces and slapped at Long Ao ruthlessly. Their intention was very simple. They wanted to take the two dragon eggs for themselves. Chapter 64. Long Ji and Long Ming came from the same family. If it was just one dragon egg, the two of them might have turned hostile. But now that there were two dragon eggs, the result could be imagined. Of course, Long Ao would not let go of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Once he obtained the dragon egg, he had an 80% chance of gaining the approval of the dragon egg, and could become a dragon warrior in the future. Tianwu Continent. Everyone knew that although the giant dragon was extremely powerful, the dragon egg did not have any attack power. It was extremely difficult to successfully gain the approval of the giant dragon. Only obtaining the approval of the dragon egg was the easiest. Before they obtained the dragon egg, the three of them were already fighting. 1 against 2, Long Ao's strength could not win against the two of them. Even if he wasn't a match for the other party, Long Ao still risked his life to fight against the two of them. His speed was even faster than the two of them. He directly picked up a dragon egg on the ground and retreated, leaving the remaining dragon egg for the two of them. Long Ji and Long Ming's expressions were extremely ugly. Long Ming picked up the only dragon egg on the ground and said coldly, Long Ao, there are many opportunities to obtain the dragon egg. I hope that you will hand over the dragon egg in your hand and I will let bygones be bygones. Long Ming and Long Ji were not fools. Of course, they knew the importance of the dragon egg. Who knew if they would be able to obtain another dragon egg after losing this opportunity? Long Ao, quickly hand over the dragon egg. Long Ji wanted to snatch it, but he knew very well that with his strength, he was no match for the other party. However, with his second brother by his side, he had full confidence. Hand over the dragon egg? Looking coldly at the two of them, Long Ao's face was filled with disdain. Without wasting any time, he dripped a drop of his blood essence onto the dragon egg. Long Ao, you're courting death. Long Ming and Long Ji were shocked when they saw the other party dripping his blood essence on the dragon egg. Because once the blood essence was absorbed by the dragon egg, unless Long Ao died, the dragon egg would belong to Long Ao. It would be useless even if they obtained it. Long Ji, Long Ming, I still advise you not to act rashly. Otherwise, if we start a war, what are the chances of you keeping the dragon eggs in your hands? Their faces were extremely gloomy as they stared at each other. However, they did not dare to act rashly. Just as the other party had said, once they fought, they did not have full confidence that they would be able to keep the dragon egg in their hands. However, they were unwilling to lose the dragon egg for nothing. Second brother, I want that dragon egg. Waving his hand, Long Ming seemed to be a little worried as well. He immediately dripped his blood essence onto the dragon egg. Only then was he truly relieved. Longao, are you really that stupid or just pretending to be stupid? You're only following us into the Dragon Valley to assist us. Do you really want to obtain the dragon egg? I don't know. I only know one thing. Senior Longing didn't restrict me from entering the Dragon Valley. Of the 2 dragon eggs, I gave you 1. That's already the best I can do. Don't push your luck. Be careful not to lose the watermelon after picking up the sesame. Ha! Hearing this, Long Ming laughed wildly. His laughter was filled with contempt, as if he had heard the funniest thing in the world. Kacha kacha. At this moment, the dragon eggs in Long Ming and Long Ao's hands began to crack slowly. Seeing this situation, both of them were pleasantly surprised. As for Long Ji, his face was gloomy. After all, the 3 of them had entered the Dragon Valley together, and he was the only one who did not obtain the dragon egg. He could only watch as the dragon eggs in their hands slowly cracked and they were about to have a baby dragon. In less than 3 minutes, the dragon eggs in their hands had completely fallen off. The little thing inside was also slowly wriggling out. The head was like a camel, the eyes were like a ghost, the ears were like a cow, the horns were like a deer, the neck was like a snake, the belly was like a snake, the scales were like a carp, the claws were like an eagle, the palms were like a tiger, and the body was covered in scales. This was a giant dragon. Looking at the fiery red giant dragon in his hands, Long Ming was extremely surprised. He almost exclaimed, "It's a fire dragon! Ha, fire dragon! I finally have a fire dragon as my companion. I will definitely become a fire dragon warrior in the future." Looking at the dragon egg in the other party's hands, Longao was also extremely surprised that a fire dragon had hatched from it. This was because the fire dragon was considered a powerful race in the Dragon Valley. However, at this moment, Longao's face was filled with depression and helplessness. What was this? Looking at the little fellow that had just hatched in his hands, not to mention Longao, even Long Ji and Long Ming did not seem to have expected it. Suddenly, Long Ji and Long Ming burst into laughter. Their laughter was filled with ridicule. Long Ming's fire dragon had a camel's head, eyes like a ghost, ears like a cow, horns like a deer, neck like a snake, belly like a snake, scales like a carp, claws like an eagle, palms like a tiger, and its body was covered in scales. However, looking at the so-called dragon in Longao's hands, it was only a pure black small snake. That's right, it was indeed a small snake. I'm dying of laughter. Damn it, it's not a giant dragon. Let me see, what is this? It looks like a snake? Second brother, you're right. It's a small snake. Seeing that the dragon egg in the other party's hands did not hatch a giant dragon, but a small snake, Long Ji finally felt better. Ignoring the ridicule and contempt of the 2 people, Long Ao looked at the small snake in his hands and was speechless to the extreme. He really could not understand why the other party had hatched a fire dragon, but he had hatched a small snake. Small snake? If he wanted to get a small snake, there was no need to enter the Dragon Valley and risk his life. He could find small snakes everywhere outside. Throw it away? He did not know why, but looking at the small snake wriggling in his hands, Long Ao felt as if his heart was connected. It was as if he was looking at himself for 10 years. The small snake would probably be ridiculed and despised endlessly in this huge Dragon Valley. Since you and I are fated to be together, then we will stay together from now on. So what if it's a small snake? I will definitely protect you well. Gently stroking the small snake in his hands, Long Ao's face was only filled with doting and persistence. Looking at Long Ao, Long Ji and Long Ming were completely dumbfounded. They thought that the other party's brain was damaged. He clearly knew that the snake in his hands was not a giant dragon, but just a small snake. Why did he not throw it away? It looked like he still wanted to rely on each other. Long Ao, because of your shameless behavior just now, from now on, we will officially part ways. But remember, don't come and fight with us for the dragon egg. Otherwise, you will die a horrible death. With just the two of you. Of course, Longao would not continue to walk with the two of them. Not to mention now, even before, he was always vigilant. Who knew if the two of them would suddenly attack him? Although he was afraid of Long Ming's strength, Longao was not afraid. At most, he would fight. Even if he was not the other party's match, he could still leave smoothly. Chapter 65. Roar! At this moment, the entire cave began to tremble. A terrifying fire attribute aura suppressed them from all directions. Hearing the dragon's roar, the trio's expressions changed. They seemed to know what had happened. After all, there were dragon eggs in this cave, which meant that there was a dragon guarding the cave. Now that the three of them had taken away the dragon eggs, would the dragon let them go? Not daring to stay any longer, the three of them turned and prepared to leave. Until now, the three of them had not found the exit. The dragon's roar was getting closer and closer, and the cave seemed like it would collapse at any time. Second brother, the exit is there. Without Long Ji's reminder, Longao and Long Ming had already rushed out. Both of them wanted to leave the cave as soon as possible and fought fiercely. Evolutionaries were ultimately evolutionaries, and their powerful auras avoided each other ruthlessly. Long Ming left quickly with Long Ji, but Longao was still a step too slow. Just as Longao arrived at the cave entrance, he was ruthlessly suppressed by Long Ming's powerful aura. He roared angrily. Long Ji, Long Ming, I, Longao, will definitely kill you. Ha ha ha, you can enjoy it with your little snake. Long Ji and Long Ming laughed wildly as they left, causing Longao to no longer have the chance to leave. This was because in front of the cave entrance, a huge fire dragon had appeared unknowingly. It stared at him coldly, and its body was emitting a terrifying power of fire. Longao swallowed his saliva. No matter how confident he was in himself, he would not be arrogant enough to fight against the fire dragon. Longao was not a fool. He knew very well that the two dragon eggs he and Long Ming had obtained were the children of the fire dragon in front of him. Although he did not know why his dragon eggs did not hatch a little dragon, but a little snake. The blood-sucking blade had already appeared in his hand. Although he knew that he was no match for the other party, Longao would not sit still and let the fire dragon kill him. The fire dragon looked at the two dragon eggs that it had lost and became even angrier. However, it did not attack immediately. Instead, it stared fixedly at the little snake in Longao's hand, a trace of affection in its eyes. Human, you actually fused your life essence blood into my child's body? Hearing the fire dragon speak, Longao was completely dumbfounded. He stood there, dumbfounded. He had no idea what was going on. Why was the fire dragon able to speak? As far as Rang knew, no matter what kind of spirit beast it was impossible for it to speak. Human, you're courting death. Eh? The bloodline of the Long family? The bloodline of the Long family? Hearing Huolong's words, Longao was overjoyed. He immediately said, Senior Huolong, I am Longao, a disciple of Red Fire Town's Long family. I accidentally entered Dragon Valley and was chased by Senior Lei Long. Unfortunately, I fell into a cave and saw your child. So, I want to become friends with your child. Hearing that this person was a disciple of the dragon family, Huolong's killing intent lessened. However, he was still infuriated and said furiously, I only have one child, and the child in your hands doesn't belong to me. Seeing that you're quite honest and are a disciple of the dragon family, I'll spare you from death, but you can't escape punishment. Break one of your arms, put down the little dragon in your hand, and you can leave. Sever my own arm? Why should I? Because you trespassed into my cave. If it weren't for your ancestors, do you think you can leave here today? Longao glared at Huolong. Of course, he wouldn't agree to break his own arm. As for the little dragon in his hand, since it wasn't Huolong's child, he wasn't wrong. As the saying goes, every man for himself. He entered Dragon Valley and risked his life to obtain the dragon egg so that he could become a dragon warrior in the future. Senior Huolong, although we didn't ask for your permission this time and infused our blood essence into your child, your method is a little too much. Forgive me for not following your example. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first. Longao couldn't be bothered to say anything to the unreasonable Huolong. How dare you! You're courting death. Suddenly, a terrifying power of fire erupted from the fire dragon's body, and it suppressed down from the sky. Longao didn't dare to be careless, but at this moment, he felt that an even more terrifying dragon breath suddenly poured into his dantian. Longao didn't know what was going on and fainted. Following that, a medium-sized black seal appeared in the cave. Then, a terrifying dragon roar rang out in the cave and the entire Dragon Valley. All the dragons who heard the dragon roar were shocked. They stood rooted to the ground and knelt down in the direction of the dragon roar. Inside the cave, looking at the huge dragon shadow that suddenly appeared in front of it, Huolong trembled and knelt on the ground in fear. It even asked in disbelief, "Are you really the divine dragon ancestor?" The terrifying dragon aura pressed down, and Huolong couldn't resist at all. It lowered its head and trembled in fear. Longao will be the master of Dragon Valley from now on. Not only are you not to hurt him, you have to protect him at all times. If anything happens to Longao, all of you will die. Got it. The huge dragon shadow continued to dance in the cave. It coldly glanced at the clansmen in front of it. With a turn of its body, it disappeared and returned to the dragon seal's space. The dragon seal also returned to Longao's dantian. If it wasn't for the dragon seal's space and the sudden appearance of the dragon shadow, just the current Longao alone would have died who knows how many times. However, at this moment, the fire dragon didn't dare to act blindly without thinking. It still stood on the spot in fear and didn't even dare to move. Time passed by bit. After an unknown amount of time, Longao finally woke up. He had a splitting headache. He did not know what had happened at all. He seemed to have remembered what had happened. He propped himself up from the ground and stared at the fire dragon in front of him. However, everything that had happened before his eyes was really unbelievable. "Senior Huolong, what are you doing?" Huolong looked at Huolong, who was kneeling in front of him, trembling in fear. Why? Was Huolong afraid of him? Even if he told others, no one would believe him. "Longao, you will be the master of Dragon Valley from now on. Not only me, but all the other tribe members will treat you as their master." Master of Dragon Valley? How did he suddenly become the master of Dragon Valley? Longao was completely stunned because he could not understand how he had become the master of the Dragon Valley after he had fainted and woke up. Not to mention him, no matter who it was, they would not be able to accept such a fact. After all, the Dragon Valley was the most powerful existence in the continent. Once he became the master of the Dragon Valley, wouldn't he be able to call the wind and summon the rain? It would be a lie to say that he wasn't excited about becoming the master of Dragon Valley. Chapter 66. Longao wasn't a fool. Of course, he wouldn't believe that a pie would fall from the sky. "Senior Huolong, what's going on?" Just as Huolong was about to speak, a voice suddenly sounded in his mind. "Longao, you can't know about this yet. In the future, you can enter the Dragon Valley openly with your own strength. That's when you'll be able to fight for the Dragon Valley. So, you'd better go back and train hard." Longao was completely confused. Huolong said that he was the master of the Dragon Valley, and then he said that he wasn't qualified to fight for the Dragon Valley in the future. What was going on? Without thinking about it, Longao asked, "Senior Huolong, can I leave now?" The thing that Longao was most concerned about was whether he could leave. After all, if Huolong insisted on killing him, he wouldn't even have the chance to fight back. "Sure. Longao, I'll say the same thing again. Work hard in your cultivation. When you step into the Dragon Valley, it will be the day you fight for the Dragon Valley. Moreover, the origin of this little fellow that you have just obtained is not simple. Senior Hulong, before I leave, I'd like to ask if the little guy I just fused with is a giant dragon. Although Longao didn't care about the little guy's identity, he still wanted to ask if the little guy was a member of the dragon tribe. Longao, I won't hide it from you. Just 3 days ago, I picked up this dragon egg in the Dragon Valley. At that time, I took in this dragon egg out of compassion. Longao looked at the sleeping little guy in his hand with a doting look on his face. Longao, don't worry. I can tell you clearly now that this little guy is definitely a member of the dragon tribe. Although I don't know why it was abandoned, I'm sure that this little guy is a mutated divine dragon. As long as it grows up, it will definitely become a very powerful existence. Mutated divine dragon? Longao didn't ask any more questions. After bidding farewell to Hulong, he left the cave. In the Dragon Valley, Longao had already successfully obtained the dragon egg, which could be considered as gaining the acknowledgement of the giant dragon. As long as the little fellow grew up in the future, he would be able to become a dragon warrior. Therefore, there was no point in staying here. Before he entered the Dragon Valley, Longing had told him that every disciple of the dragon family could obtain a giant dragon as a companion. Once you gained the recognition of a giant dragon, you would never be able to become a dragon warrior with another giant dragon unless you died. Perhaps it was a small world, but just as Longao was about to leave the Dragon Valley, he met Long Ji and Long Ming. The relationship between the three of them was different now. Even if Longao did not get a dragon egg but a so-called snake egg, Long Ji and Long Ming already treated him as an enemy. Once they had the chance, they would not hold back at all. Longao, you have already lost the chance to become a dragon warrior. I advise you to leave the Dragon Valley. Otherwise, you will regret it. With just you? Longao looked down on the two people in front of him. He really couldn't understand. The Dragon Valley was so big and there was definitely more than one dragon egg. If that was the case, why did Long Ji and Long Ming insist on not letting him go? At the end of the day, the two of them still looked down on him and looked down on him for coming from a small family. Longao, don't think that you are invincible. I will tell you clearly now that if I want to kill you, I can do it in a matter of minutes. The reason why I didn't kill you is because of the family head, so you better not provoke me. With that, Long Ji and Long Ming turned and left. Long Ming had already obtained Hulong. As long as he hid this matter, he could successfully become a dragon warrior. However, Long Ji did not get the dragon egg, so the two of them would not leave the Dragon Valley for the time being, unless the passage closed a month later. Longao looked at the two of them coldly. He was about to leave the Dragon Valley, but he changed his mind and followed the two of them. He wanted to see if the two of them could obtain other dragon eggs. Second brother, your luck is really good. You've only been in the Dragon Valley for less than 2 hours, and you've already successfully obtained a dragon egg. I wonder if I'll have a chance to obtain a dragon egg this time. I don't need a fire dragon. Even the lowest level giant dragon will do. Longji was not a fool. Of course he knew that every dragon was the strongest existence in the world. Even if he obtained the lowest level dragon, he could still become a dragon warrior and soar into the sky. We still have a month. Since we can obtain a dragon egg, I believe we can obtain a second and third one. At that time, as long as we bring the dragon egg back to the family, we will be the family's heroes. Longji would not care about the family. He only hoped that he could obtain a dragon egg and become a powerful dragon warrior in the future. Second brother, what should I do if we are unlucky and can't get the dragon egg? What can you do? Continue to cultivate well in the future. Remember, you don't have to become a dragon warrior to reach the peak of martial arts. He cursed in his heart, but said indifferently, Second brother, if you obtain the dragon egg, you will definitely become a dragon warrior in the future. If outsiders find out about this, or if the other Long family finds out, I don't know what will happen. Long Ming was not a fool. Of course he knew that Long Ji's words had a hidden meaning. Was he threatening him? Don't think too much. In the coming days, I will do my best to help you find the dragon egg. Once 2 dragon warriors appear in our Long family, we will definitely be able to advance to a 3rd level Long family in the future. Longji was still very worried, but he had no other choice. Although he had threatened him a little just now, he would definitely not dare to do it. He did not know if it was on purpose, but Long Ming slowed down unintentionally, allowing Longji to walk in front of him. Crack! There was a soft sound. Longji looked at the sharp sword that was inserted from behind, his face filled with disbelief. He turned his head with difficulty and stared fixedly at Long Ming, who was right in front of him. He said in disbelief, "Second brother, why?" With a ruthless expression, Long Ming said fiercely, "Damn it, I wanted to help you find a dragon egg so that you can also become a dragon warrior. But you bastard, how dare you threaten me? Who do you think you are to threaten me? Second brother, I was just joking just now. I wouldn't dare. I don't believe it. I only believe in dead people. Only when you are dead will I completely hide the fact that I obtained the dragon egg. Remember, your death is to help second brother. Second brother is very grateful to you. Don't worry, not only you, even if I obtain other dragon eggs, I will destroy them. I am the only one in the family who can obtain the dragon egg and become a dragon warrior." Long Ming was very ambitious and selfish. "I can't accept it. I really can't accept it. Long Ming, even if I die, I will not let you off as a ghost." Chapter 67. With his last bit of unwillingness, Longji fell to the ground in the end. "No one can stop me from becoming a dragon martial artist. Longji, your death can fulfill my wish. So don't blame second brother." Clap, clap, Longao clapped his hands and walked out slowly from the back. He looked at the other party with disdain and said coldly, "You would even kill your own brother. You are really unscrupulous." Long Ming was not surprised at all as he said indifferently, "Every man for himself. Once the news of me getting the dragon egg spreads, I believe you should know better than me what the consequences will be. Long Ming, I am curious. Since you are afraid that this will spread and kill Longji, aren't you afraid that I will expose this? Longao, are you really stupid or are you pretending to be stupid? Do you really think that you can continue to live?" What did this mean? Shaking his head with a smile, Long Ming said, "I'm not afraid to tell you that the reason why the Master gave you a slot to enter the Dragon Valley is because he saw your potential. No matter whether you get the dragon egg or not, you will die when you leave the Dragon Valley. If that's the case, why should I do this?" So that was it. All this while, Longao could not understand why Longing would choose him to enter the Dragon Valley. After all, the slots were too precious. There were so many talented disciples in the level 5 dragon family. Why did he choose him? It seemed like Long Ming was right. The reason why Longing looked for him this time was not because he wanted him to get the dragon egg and become a dragon martial artist. What he really valued was his potential and luck. Sometimes, luck played a large part in whether one could succeed in something. To Longing, the reason why he could achieve so much in just a few months was because of his potential and talent. The biggest reason was still his luck. That was why he gave him a slot to enter the Dragon Valley. It seemed like if he got the dragon egg and left the Dragon Valley, not only would the dragon egg be snatched away, he would also be killed by Longing. If he did not get the dragon egg, the result would be the same. Level 5 Dragon Family. What a cruel reality. Longao had already gotten used to this man-eat-man world. After all, it was better to rely on oneself than on others. No matter what, he had chosen to enter the Dragon Valley. Therefore, he could not blame others. Longao, are you scared? Longming, don't think that you've won. If I leave the Dragon Valley and tell everyone about you, think about it. What will you do? Hearing this, Longming's expression immediately turned cold and he asked coldly, "Are you threatening me?" "Haha, I'm not threatening you. I'm just telling you that not everyone is as shameless as you. I'm telling you clearly that I won't leave the Dragon Valley. I'll return to your family. I'd like to see how they'll deal with me. Do you think you have a chance? Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew what the other party meant. The blood-sucking blade had already appeared in his hand. He was very afraid of Long Ming. No matter what, the other party was an expert in evolution. Ha ha ha, Longao, you are really arrogant to the extreme. Do you really think that you are my opponent? Fight. It was just a simple word. Fight. It had already expressed Longao's intention. Just like that, Longao and Long Ming looked at each other. A strong fighting spirit rose from their bodies at the same time and intertwined with each other. As a genius disciple of the Long family, Long Ming was not only talented, but also worked hard and had extraordinary strength. I will tear you into pieces. With that said, Long Ming's body had already jumped out. Longao turned sideways and came in front of Long Ji. He first took the other party's soul and then slashed out fiercely with the blood-sucking blade in his hand. After summoning the soul servant, the man and the soul servant fought Long Ming. But even so, Long Ming was still in the evolution realm. It was almost an extremely difficult thing to defeat Long Ming. After taking away Long Ji's soul, Longao did not plan to let Long Fu continue to refine soul servants. This was because he had already thought it through. Unless he could kill the soul of a martial artist above the evolution realm, the souls of all the martial artists in One Line Sky and 100 Scatter Sky would all enter the blood pool and be refined into pure energy for him. The first style of the blood-sucking 8 styles was the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. The second style was the heart-devouring Ice Seal. One move after another, each move stronger than the previous. Ha ha, Longao, I have to admit that with your strength, you are already an invincible existence in the One-Line Sky realm. But the difference between the One-Line Sky and the evolution realm is not something you can imagine. I will now let you feel the power of an evolution realm martial artist. The number 1 martial artist in One-Line Sky, the strongest martial artist below the evolution realm. But One-Line Sky was still One-Line Sky. In Long Ming's opinion, no matter how strong the other party was, compared to him, they were not on the same level. It was precisely because of this that Long Ming's body suddenly emitted a powerful aura, which was the unique power of an evolution realm martial artist. Just based on aura alone, a One-Line Sky martial artist was no match for an evolution realm martial artist. But what happened next completely shocked Long Ming, as if he had seen a ghost. Aura? You actually condensed aura? It was hard to believe that the other party could condense his own aura at the One-Line Sky realm. There were martial artists in One-Line Sky who had successfully condensed aura, but they were all geniuses. Long Ming admired the other party's talent, but he never thought that the other party's talent would be so strong. It was precisely because of this that the murderous intent in Long Ming's heart became even stronger. He had already secretly made up his mind that no matter what happened, he would kill the other party. Because he could not guarantee how far the other party would grow if he continued to grow. Aura. Even if a One-Line Sky martial artist could condense aura, it was completely different from the aura possessed by an evolution realm martial artist. Just like this, Longao was firmly suppressed by the other party. Even a soul servant could not get close to the other party's body. If this continued, not to mention killing the other party, whether he could leave the Dragon Valley alive would be the biggest problem. Die. Seeing the other party's sword coming at him, Longao did not dare to face it head-on. He retreated and landed 3 meters away. A wise man does not fight when the odds are against him. The other party's strength was too strong. It was almost impossible to defeat the other party at this time. Longao did not continue to stay and quickly turned to leave. Long Ming did not chase after him. He coldly looked at the figure that had already disappeared and suddenly laughed. His laughter was filled with disdain and contempt. He scolded. Trash will always be trash. Just you wait. When I become a dragon martial artist, I will definitely kill you. He came in front of Long Zhi and coldly looked at the corpse on the ground. Without the slightest brotherhood, he said, "Don't blame me. You asked for it." Chapter 68. Dragon Valley. In a very secluded cave. Long Fu, the mysterious heavenly finger produced by the mysterious heavenly 9 transformations doesn't seem to be suitable for me now. The mysterious heavenly finger was indeed very powerful. However, Longao discovered that although he had cultivated the mysterious heavenly finger to the mysterious heavenly 9 transformations, its power wasn't very great. According to the records of the 9 transformations technique, only when his mysterious heavenly 9 transformations reached the last transformation, which was the so-called 9th transformation, would he have the opportunity to enter the first transformation of the transformations technique. "Master, I have already looked through all the martial skills. Although many of them are powerful, they are indeed not suitable for you. However, there is a martial skill that is extremely powerful. Every time you use it, it consumes a lot of energy." Delighted, Longao impatiently asked, "Long Fu, what martial skill?" "Destruction Seal." "Destruction Seal?" "Master, the Destruction Seal is one of the most powerful martial skills. There are a total of 18 seals. However, I can only teach you 4 seals now." Longao wasn't someone who bit off more than he could chew. Since Long Fu had already said that the Destruction Seal was one of the most powerful martial skills in the Dragon Seal space, it already explained the power of the Destruction Seal. "Okay. Master, I will now teach you the first 4 seals of the Destruction Seal." Immediately after, the mental cultivation methods of the 4 seals appeared in Longao's mind. They were the Soul-Suppressing Seal, Dark-Burning Seal, Sky-Burying Seal and Doomsday Seal. Although he hadn't cultivated it yet and had only slightly melted it, Longao was incomparably shocked. The Destruction Seal that Long Fu taught him was simply too powerful. It even surpassed the 8 styles of blood drinking. This was only the first 4 seals of the Destruction Seal. Longao found it hard to imagine how terrifying the remaining 14 seals would be. With such a powerful Destruction Seal, Longao naturally wouldn't give up this opportunity. He grasped every minute and second and immediately started to cultivate the first 4 seals of the Destruction Seal. The Soul-Suppressing Seal, Dark-Burning Seal, Sky-Burying Seal and Doomsday Seal. Of the first 4 seals of the Destruction Seal, Longao knew that with his current strength, he could only cultivate the first seal, the Soul-Suppressing Seal. The principle of the Soul-Suppressing Seal was actually similar to the second move of the 8 styles of blood drinking, Ice Heart Devouring. However, the Soul-Suppressing Seal's power was much more powerful. What would happen if a warrior's Soul-Suppressing Seal? A month later. For an entire month, Longao did not leave the cave at all. He was fully focused on cultivating the Soul-Suppressing Seal. Heaven does not disappoint those who persevere. After a month of cultivation, the Soul-Suppressing Seal could also be considered to have a small achievement. With the help of the blood pool, Long Fu refined Long Zhi's soul into the purest energy. After Longao absorbed this energy, his spirit energy had already filled 48 acupuncture points. He was still far from filling 108 acupuncture points with spirit energy. A month had passed, and the Dragon Valley passage was about to close. Longao did not stay any longer, and quickly headed towards the passage. Star Cloud City, Level 5 Long Family's backyard. Longao, congratulations on obtaining the Dragon Egg's recognition. If there are no accidents, you can become a powerful dragon warrior in the future. Looking at Longing and Longming, Longao's heart was filled with disdain. However, his face was indifferent as he said, "Senior Longing, I believe you should know that the dragon egg I obtained wasn't a dragon, but a small snake. Mutated divine dragon." Longao naturally wouldn't tell the truth about the little fellow he obtained. Once the other party knew that he didn't have a small snake, but a mutated divine dragon that was stronger than the fire dragon, he believed that the Long family wouldn't let him go. Longing obviously knew about this. His face suddenly darkened as he asked, Longao, let me ask you, how do I treat you? Yes. I gave you one of the 3 places to enter the Dragon Valley. I thought highly of you, but what about you? Let me ask you, did you kill Longji? Longji? Hearing Longing mention Longji, Longao already understood what had happened. He looked coldly at Longming, who was beside Longing, and asked, Did you say so? Longming laughed coldly and said, So what if I did? Longao, you ingrate. The head of the family was so good to you and gave you one of the 3 places to enter the Dragon Valley. What about you? Not only did you not feel grateful, you even killed Longji. Humph. Waving his hand, Longing stopped Longming from continuing. He said coldly, Longao, you killed Longji. I want to ask, how are you going to explain it to me? Senior Longing, what if I say that Longji wasn't killed by me, but by him? Ha! Longming suddenly laughed as if he had heard the funniest thing in the world. He said coldly, Longao, are you out of your mind? Why would I kill my brother? I always thought that you were still a man. Look at you now. Longao, between you and Longming, who do you think I will choose to believe? Looking deeply at Longing and Longming in front of him, Longao did not know if the 2 of them were deliberately looking for trouble, or if it was Longming's scheme. However, Longao knew one thing very clearly. No matter what the reason was, the grudge between him and the 5th-rank Long family had been completely formed. Longing, I've already said that I didn't kill Longji. Since you don't believe me, there's nothing I can do. Humph, Longao, you killed Longji. If I let you leave so easily, how am I going to answer to the family? Actually, Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew very well that Longing and Longming were doing this because they wanted to silence him. After all, in this world, only he knew about Longming. As long as he died, who else would know? This way, Longming would be able to grow smoothly and become a dragon martial artist in the future. Longao, you don't have to worry. I'll give you a chance now. As long as you can defeat Longming, I'll let you leave. Master, it seems that we are not very kind for a useless person to defeat me. How about this? Longao, I'll give you a chance. As long as you can force me out of this circle, you win. Longming was full of confidence. A month ago, he had scared the other party away. Just like that, Longming drew a huge circle around him. Longing seemed to be very confident as well. He retreated to the side and said, The Long family means what we say. Contempt. Contempt. Of course, Longao knew that in Longming's eyes, he had never taken him seriously. However, in order to leave the Long family smoothly, he could only choose to agree. As for why Longing did not make a move but wanted to do this, Longao also thought of it. If nothing went wrong, Longing should be afraid of the royal family. After all, his relationship with the royal family was there, and he was a member of the National Guard Hall. Okay, I promise you. Chapter 69. Force. Longao and Longming exuded a powerful force at the same time and collided with each other. Sensing the force released by the other party, Longying's eyes were a little strange and a cold smile appeared on his lips. Because in his heart, he was full of confidence that Longming could kill Longao. The difference in strength between the One-Line Sky Realm and the Evolution Realm was very big. They were not on the same level at all. Longao, I will tear you into pieces today. The moment she finished speaking, Longming rushed out under the cover of his aura. He did not dare to be careless. The blood-sucking blade that suddenly appeared in his hand had already slashed out with the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, and heart-sealing ice. The double attack sealed all paths. The sword snake spat out mist. Longming dodged to the side and the sharp sword in his hand stabbed out at an ingenious angle. The blade and sword collided and the powerful aura collided. Longao was fiercely shaken away by the sword and took several steps back. Evolution realm. Longao knew very well that if the force he possessed could be evolved with the help of the 108 acupuncture points, then the situation would be completely reversed. Strictly speaking, the reason why he could not defeat the other party was because of the strength of the force. The blood-sucking blade disappeared and Longao suddenly began to form seals with both hands. His hands condensed various seals at the fastest speed. It was the destruction seal that he had been cultivating for the past month. Long Fu had only taught him the first 4 seals of the destruction seal: the soul-suppressing seal, burning hell seal, heaven-burying seal, and doomsday seal. In this month, after painstaking cultivation, Longao had already achieved some success with the soul-suppressing seal. What kind of martial technique is this? Feeling the powerful aura emitted from the other party's hand, Long Ming's expression changed and his face was filled with disbelief. All along, Long Ming had thought that the difference in realms could not be made up for by anything. Even the martial techniques that warriors relied on to fight against their enemies could not make up for the difference in realms. Soul-suppressing seal. As soon as he said these words, the soul-suppressing seal, formed by Longao's hands, had already invaded Long Ming's body at an unbelievable speed. Impossible. He did not dare to continue attacking because Long Ming had already realized that the soul in his body was being suppressed by a terrifying aura and he was resisting the invasion of this aura with all his might. The soul-suppressing seal was the first seal of the annihilation seal. Although he knew that the soul-suppressing seal was very strong, Longao didn't know how strong it was until he actually fought it. Seeing that Long Ming was resisting the soul-suppressing seal with all his might, Longao was overjoyed. How could he give up this rare opportunity so easily? The blood-sucking blade in his hand instantly struck out with the first move, the Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes, and the second move, the Frozen Heart Devouring. The 9 rays of light stacked on top of each other, together with the invasion of the aura. The chances of Long Ming surviving under the 3-pronged attack was almost 0. Enough. Long Ming roared and waved his hand gently. A terrifying power surged out like a tidal wave. Longao, who had already made up his mind to kill Long Ming, was almost killed by this terrifying power. Longao was shocked. Of course, he knew that Long Ming's strength was far above Long Ming's. Could it be that he was in the amalgamation realm or the consolidation realm? Longao, you can go. Remember, I hope you won't tell anyone about Long Ming being recognized by the dragon egg. Otherwise, even if my Long family is destroyed, I will drag your family down with me. You're on your own. Master. Long Ming waved his hand. Of course, he didn't want to let this person go. But when he thought of the royal family behind the young man, he could only sigh deeply. The 5th-level Long family was no match for the royal family. Once they provoked the royal family because of one person, it didn't seem worth it. No matter what your purpose is, I only want to tell you one thing. Don't provoke me, don't provoke my family. Otherwise, no matter what happens, I will take revenge and pay you back double. With that, Longao turned and left. Master, why did you let this person go? Forcefully suppressing the terrifying aura in his body, Long Ming was shocked to the extreme. Until now, he still couldn't accept that with his strength, he had lost to a one-line sky martial artist. Actually, in Long Ming's heart, there was still a deep fear. The other party could already defeat him now. What about in the future? When Longao's cultivation also broke through to the evolution realm, would he still have a foothold? Longao has already become a member of the royal family's National Guard Hall. Once we kill him, the royal family will definitely not let this matter rest. Don't worry, I won't let this person live. Long Ming seemed to understand the meaning of the master's words. He nodded and said, Master, I want to cultivate in seclusion for a year. Yes, I have already prepared a place for you. In this year, no one will come to disturb you. Remember, you are the future hope of the family. No matter what happens to the family, nothing can happen to you. Long Ming was not a fool. Of course, he knew Long Ming's importance now. Once he was recognized by the dragon egg and was a fire dragon, once he grew up, he would become a powerful dragon martial artist. This was undoubtedly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the Long family. After leaving the fifth-level Long family, Longao did not have time to rest properly before he was found by Ouyang Fei. Ouyang Fei looked very anxious. He went straight to the point and said, "Brother Long, where have you been for the past month? I have been looking for you everywhere. It was so hard to find you." "Big brother Ouyang, what's the matter?" "Yes, this is troublesome. Previously, you had already promised father to join the National Guard Hall as a member of the National Guard. According to your duties, you should have reported to the National Guard Hall a month ago. However, you disappeared for a month. Now, the National Guard Hall is very dissatisfied with you and seems to want to find trouble with you." Regarding this matter, Longao did not feel the slightest bit surprised. After all, the National Guard Hall of the Nebula royal family was filled with experts. The weakest one was only in the evolution realm. He was only a warrior in one-line sky. How could he be looked down upon by the National Guard Hall? "Big brother Ouyang, I know about this matter. Are you looking for me this time to report to the National Guard Hall?" "That's right. Go quickly." Shrugging his shoulders, Longao did not take this matter to heart. So what if he was a warrior in one-line sky? Following behind Ouyang Fei, Longao kept thinking about what happened in the Dragon Valley. After a while, the two entered the left side of the royal family. The entire north was the territory of the National Guard Hall. Under normal circumstances, no one would dare to step in unless it was the emperor. Even Ouyang Fei was not allowed to enter without permission. "Big brother Ouyang, are you really not going in?" "Brother Long, I really want to go in. However, the National Guard Hall has a written rule. Unless it is father, no one in Nebula royal family is allowed to enter the National Guard Hall without permission. The light punishment would be crippled. The heavy punishment would be death." Shaking his head helplessly, it seemed that the National Guard Hall had a high status in the Nebula royal family. Even the crown prince of the royal family did not dare to enter without permission. Chapter 70. Longao did not enter the National Guard Hall immediately. Instead, he listened to Ouyang Fei's explanation about the National Guard Hall. There were 23 members in the National Guard Hall. The Hall Master and 2 Vice Hall Masters were all fusion warriors. As for the remaining 20 members, they were all evolution warriors. In other words, once he entered the National Guard Hall, he would become the weakest member of the National Guard Hall. How would the people in the National Guard Hall be convinced? They would despise and look down on him. After taking a deep look at the National Guard Hall in front of him, Longao stepped forward and walked in. The National Guard Hall was the most important place in the Nebula Imperial family. It was also the highest authority. Even the Emperor had to rely on the National Guard Hall. As soon as he stepped into the National Guard Hall, "Who are you?" "The National Guard Hall is an important place. No one is allowed to enter without permission." Longao was too lazy to talk nonsense with the guards. He directly showed his badge. Seeing the 3 words, "State Protector," on the badge, the 2 guards immediately became respectful because they knew very well what the State Protector of the State Protector Hall meant. "Oh, isn't this the youngest National Guard Master of our National Guard Hall?" "Humph, youngest? Ignorant fool. I'm really puzzled. A little one-line sky warrior is actually qualified to enter the National Guard Hall. Damn it!" The members of the National Guard Hall, Yue and Mao Feng, had a look of disdain and contempt. Every member of the National Guard Hall of the Nebula Imperial family was an evolution warrior. In the eyes of an evolution warrior, what was a one-line sky warrior? Moreover, in the history of the National Guard Hall, only those who had broken through the evolution realm and obtained the joint consent of the 3 Hall Masters could officially join the National Guard Hall. But what about this guy? He was just a one-line sky warrior. Without the consent of the 3 hall masters, he had entered the National Guard Hall. This matter caused a huge uproar in the National Guard Hall. Everyone expressed their disapproval.
Wait. What's the matter? Didn't you hear what we said?
Yue Wei and Mao Feng were obviously unhappy. If it wasn't for the National Guard Hall's written rule that members were not allowed to fight, the 2 of them would have already attacked.
Longao, who do you think you are? How can you enter the National Guard Hall? I'll give you one last chance. Get the hell out of here. Scram.
Longao was too lazy to deal with the 2 of them. He was puzzled. Why was it that wherever he went, he would meet such people?
What did you just say? Who are you telling to get lost? Good dogs don't block the way. Whichever dog blocks the way, that dog should scram. You are courting death.
Mao Feng grabbed Yue Wei, shook his head, and said,
This trash only dares to do this because we are inside the National Guard Hall and won't kill him. If we were outside, would he still dare to do this? Longao, I'm officially challenging you now. If you're a man, do you dare to accept my challenge?
Trouble was coming. Longao was a bit depressed. He had just entered the National Guard Hall and trouble had already come knocking on his door. If he didn't accept the challenge, how would he survive in the National Guard Hall in the future? Moreover, if he didn't accept the challenge, wouldn't it be telling everyone that he was afraid?
All right, I accept your challenge.
Accept the challenge? Hearing the other side accept the challenge, Yue Wei and Mao Feng were delighted. Yue Wei hooked his finger and said coldly,
Longao, you're still a man. Let's go out and fight. Don't worry, I won't kill you. At most, I'll beat you until you kneel and beg for mercy. Ha!
Yue Wei's face was full of arrogance and confidence. Longao also did not hesitate. Since he had accepted the challenge, then he had to face the next battle. Outside the National Guard Hall. The news of the battle between Yue Wei and Longao, in the blink of an eye, had spread throughout the National Guard Hall and the entire Imperial family. The National Guard Hall Master Tang Lin, the 2 Vice Hall Masters Yang Yi and Luo Qing, and the rest of the members were all present. Not only that, even the Emperor Ouyang Feng and Crown Prince Ouyang Feng were present. Everyone sat on the side and no one stopped them. After all, this was a challenge between martial artists. As long as both sides agreed, no one had the right to ask.
Brother Tang, who do you think will win the battle between Yue Wei and Longao? Your Majesty, I already know about Longao. This person is indeed a rare talent. He is very talented and has great potential. If he is nurtured well, he can become the pillar of the kingdom in the future. Although Tang Lin did not say it clearly, Ouyang Feng knew very well that the National Guard Hall Master beside him definitely thought that Longao was not Yue Wei's opponent. However, after thinking about it, he understood. After all, Longao had just risen. What about Yue Wei? He was a veteran member of the National Guard Hall, and his cultivation had reached the evolution realm. It was nothing even if Longao lost. After all, Longao's age and talent were there. If the 2 of them knew that Longao had almost killed Long Ming, who had reached the evolution realm, what would they think? Ha ha ha, Longao, I really admire you. You actually dared to accept the challenge. I really want to know what gave you such confidence. Yue Wei's face was filled with contempt and disdain. In his eyes, this young man in front of him was not even worth a fart. Moreover, at this moment, the surroundings were filled with people. No matter what happened, he had to win. He had to win. Idiot.
You're courting death.
How could Yue Wei stand being insulted in public? With a roar, his body had already rushed out. The 2 of them did not use any weapons. On the surface, it was a spar. In fact, both of them knew very well that even if they were injured in this battle, no one would blame them. After all, no one could predict the outcome of a battle between martial artists. The Yellow Spring's 9 consecutive strikes. The 9 fist forces overlapped in an instant,
and collided fiercely with Yue Wei's fist. Spiritual energy scattered in all directions. Yue Wei was directly sent flying by Longao's punch. With a loud thud, Yue Wei's body made the most intimate contact with the ground. Impossible, this is impossible. Yue Wei seemed to have been provoked as he stood up. To think that he, the dignified National Guardian of the National Guardian Hall, was sent flying by a young boy with a single punch. Where was his face? How could he continue to stay in the National Guardian Hall in the future? With endless disbelief, Yue Wei moved both his fists and fiercely punched out once again. Seeing Yue Wei being sent flying by Longao's punch, everyone was stunned, especially the Hall Master of the National Guardian Hall, Tang Lin. Because his words just now showed that Longao was not Yue Wei's opponent at all. But now, Yue Wei could not even take a single punch from the other party. If he did not see it with his own eyes, he would not believe it even if he was beaten to death. Your Majesty, this boy's talent and potential are the strongest I have ever seen. No matter what happens, you have to grasp this boy well. Who knows, this boy might become the lucky star of Star Cloud Kingdom in the future. He seemed to be a little surprised because in so many years, Ouyang Feng had never heard Tang Lin praise anyone. Chapter 71. After sending Yue Wei flying with a punch, Longao's body dashed out again. Nephew Longao, that's enough. Hearing Ouyang Feng's words, Longao's heart was filled with unwillingness, but in the end, he forced himself to stop. No matter what, this was the Nebula royal family. Those who bully others will be bullied. You better not provoke me in the future. Otherwise, no matter who it is, they won't be able to protect you. Yue Wei, who was sent flying with a punch, did not continue to attack. He stood there dumbfounded, his face filled with disbelief. Ha ha ha, Brother Long, come with me. Seeing Longao defeat Yue Wei, Tang Lin laughed as if he had found a treasure. He did not care about the shocked gazes of the surrounding people. He pulled Longao's hand and walked side by side into the National Guard Hall. Brother Yu, failure is common. Don't take it to heart. Mao Feng was also deeply shocked. He never thought that the other party would be able to defeat Yue Wei. If he did not see it with his own eyes, he would not believe it even if he was beaten to death. A one-line sky martial artist could actually defeat an evolved martial artist and send him flying with a punch. Was this true? Mao Feng, I will definitely avenge this. Entering the National Guard Hall, Tang Lin directly led Longao and the other members into the main hall. He even brought the Emperor of the Kingdom into the hall. Brother Long, I really did not think that your strength would be able to defeat Brother Yu. According to your talent and potential, you will definitely become a unification expert in less than 10 years. Hearing this, Ouyang Feng seemed to be a little surprised. This was because he never thought that Tang Lin would have such a high evaluation of this child. 10 years, to a martial artist, it was a matter of the blink of an eye. Smiling helplessly, Longao did not say anything. This was because being able to send Yue Wei flying with a punch this time, in the end, was a large part of it. It turned out that when he was fighting with Yue Wei, Longao had silently integrated the soul-suppressing seal into his fists. Yue Wei was careless and was hit by the soul-suppressing seal. His soul was suppressed and he was sent flying with a punch. Longao was very clear in his heart that under normal circumstances, it would not be easy for him to defeat evolutionary-level martial artists. Especially if he wanted to defeat a powerful evolutionary-level martial artist, it would be incomparably difficult. The soul-subduing seal, also known as the annihilation seal, was truly an incomparably heaven-defying martial skill. After all, without the annihilation seal, it was impossible to defeat an evolved martial artist, even if it was by luck. Luck was very important, but martial skills and strength were even more important. Brother Long, let me ask you now, are you willing to become a member of the National Guard Hall? I am willing. Tang Lin's face was full of praise. He nodded and said, In that case, from now on, you're officially a member of the National Guard Hall. Ha ha ha, nephew Longao, if you need anything in the future, feel free to look for me. Looking at Tang Lin and Ouyang Feng, everyone felt a deep sense of helplessness. It was because everyone knew that the two most powerful people in the Star Cloud Kingdom treated this person with great importance. Next, Tang Lin led Longao to familiarize himself with the National Guard Hall. According to Tang Lin and Ouyang Feng, they hoped that Longao could stay in the Star Cloud royal family. However, they were directly rejected by Longao. After leaving the Star Cloud royal family, Longao could not be said to be happy. It was the same even after defeating Long Ming and Yu Wei, whose cultivation had reached the evolutionary level. Longao knew very well that unless his cultivation had officially broken through to the evolutionary level, he would be able to easily defeat evolutionary level martial artists. Otherwise, once he met other evolutionary level martial artists, he would not be able to defeat them every time. You're Longao? Looking at the child in front of him, Longao was very curious. He nodded and asked, Little fellow, I'm Longao. Are you looking for me? That's right. Someone just gave me a letter and asked me to give it to you. This time, Longao was even more curious. He took the letter from the little fellow's hand and gave him a gold coin. After opening the letter and roughly glancing at it, Longao's expression changed abruptly. He was instantly furious because the general meaning of the letter was that they had captured Long Yi and Mu Lin. If he could not rush back to the Red Fire Town in Thundercloud City within 3 days, Long Yi and Mu Lin would become 2 corpses. No signature. Who is it? Longao forcefully suppressed the anger in his heart. In his mind, several enemies had already appeared. 5th level Long family? Star Cloud City's Meow family? Thundercloud City's Long family? Longao knew that no matter who the other party was, he could not let anything happen to his parents. It was precisely because of this that Longao, who had just left the Star Cloud royal family, immediately got up and headed to Thundercloud City. 2 days later. Thundercloud City, Red Fire Town, Long family. 7th brother? 7th brother, you're back? 7th brother is back. 7th brother is back. Longao had just stepped into the Long family when he heard Long En's joyful shout. Soon, everyone in the Long family came out. Long Haosher, Long Yi, and Mu Lin were among them. Longao exclaimed in bewilderment when he saw his parents coming out. He quickly walked over and asked straightforwardly, Father, Mother, are you all right? Or what's wrong? Both Long Yi and Mu Lin were somewhat puzzled and asked curiously. Longao directly handed over the letter in his hand. After Long Haosher and the others read it, they were all very curious. Long Haosher said, This person is clearly targeting you. Or think about it. Who could it be? Longao shrugged helplessly and said, Grandfather, I don't know who it is either. However, no matter what, from now on, you all must be careful when you go out. I need to think about this matter carefully. Longao already knew that this letter was a prank. However, it also told him that the matter of the Long family was his top priority right now. Before this, Longao had always been thinking about his own matters. He had never thought about the Long family. Even now, he still felt a lingering fear. If something happened to the Long family, he would not even have the chance to regret it in the future. Or let me ask you now. Have you already become the state protector of Star Cloud Kingdom? Longao nodded and said, Yes. By the way, Grandfather, when I returned earlier, I discovered that the Red Fire Town seemed to be somewhat different. What happened? Longao was very curious. When he returned this time, he discovered that the Red Fire Town had changed greatly. It was completely different from the Red Fire Town before. In other words, the Red Fire Town at this moment was dozens of times more prosperous. It was even comparable to Thundercloud City. Because of this, Longao did not know what had happened. Long Haosher and the others did not seem to be surprised by the changes in the Red Fire Town. He said, This is all because of you. A month ago, The Star Cloud royal family wantonly built the Red Fire Town and announced to the world that our Long family will be the master of the Red Fire Town in the future. Chapter 72. It was really fast. Longao was very clear about the intentions of the Nebula royal family. The Nebula royal family wanted to rope him in. However, he did not expect that the Nebula royal family had already taken action a month ago. Or, all the businesses of our Long family will be pulled back to the Scarlet Fire Town. With the help of the Nebula royal family, we will no longer have to extend our business to Thunder Cloud City. Looking at the excited faces of his grandfather and father, Longao told himself firmly that no matter what happened, nothing must happen to the Long family. No matter who it was, no one could harm the Long family. After a simple chat with the Long family, Longao left the Long family temporarily. He first went to find Yuin, then went to the Thunder Cloud City's City Lord Mansion to find Lu Mu. Getting straight to the point, Longao took out the letter. After Lu Mu finished reading it, he asked, "Brother Lu, take a look. Do you have any clues about this letter?" After reading the letter, Lu Mu's face turned serious and asked, "Brother Long, is anyone in trouble?" "Not at the moment. This matter is a little troublesome. If the other party came at us directly, we could still deal with it. However, the problem is that the other party came at us secretly. If..." Lu Mu did not finish his words, but the meaning behind his words was clear. If the other party really did something like this, they would not even have the chance to defend themselves. Because of this, Longao felt that this matter was terrifying. It was hard to imagine what would happen to the Long family. At that time, he would not even have the chance to regret. Who could it be? After thinking about it, Longao felt that there were many possibilities. "Brother Long, I just thought about it. I feel that the biggest suspect is Yi Hao from the Sky Cloud sect." "Yi Hao? Brother Lu, Yi Hao and I have made a promise of 1 year. Yi Hao would not easily make a move against the Long family before 1 year is up, right?" With the deterrence of the Nebula royal family, Longao was confident that the Sky Cloud sect would not dare to get involved in this matter. Since that was the case, would Yi Hao dare to do it alone? "Brother Long, listen to me. Although you and Yi Hao have agreed to meet in a year, Yi Hao's heart is uncertain. Because of this, I'm guessing that Yi Hao is behind this. Brother Long, I have something to say, but I don't know if I should say it or not. Brother Lu, if you have anything to say, just say it. Brother Long, as the saying goes, it's easier to dodge a spear in the open than an arrow in the dark. With Yi Hao's strength, once he goes against the Long family, think about the consequences." How could Longao not understand the meaning behind Lu Mu's words? After thinking about it, Yi Hao was indeed the most suspicious. "Brother Lu, I have something to do. I'll take my leave first." Without staying any longer, Longao turned around and left quickly. City Lord's Mansion, Backyard, Pavilion. Looking at the gradually disappearing figure, Lu Ji suddenly appeared with a gloomy expression. She said, "Father, why is this so troublesome? Just kill him and end everything." "Humph." With a cold snort, Lu Mu said with a deep sense of helplessness, "You were too reckless this time. If Longao knows that this letter was written by you, the consequences will be unimaginable. Jia, Longao's identity is different now. He's the kingdom protector. Once the Nebula royal family intervenes, we'll be in big trouble. Father, don't worry. As long as we don't say anything, Longao won't know at all." With his current strength, going to the Sky Cloud sect to seek revenge from Yi Hao is almost a dead end. Thundercloud City still didn't know that Longao had defeated Yu Wei. As for the battle between Long Ming and Longao, the outside world didn't know either. Otherwise, Longao's ranking on the 100 battle ranking would continue to rise and replace Long Ming's position. Because of this, in Lu Ji and Lu Mu's opinion, as long as Longao went to the Sky Cloud sect to seek revenge from Yi Hao, he would definitely die. Jia, The enmity between you and Longao is not a life and death hatred. Why do you have to do this? Father, since I was young, no one has dared to insult me. But Longao has contradicted me again and again. I must make him pay the price. Looking deeply at his daughter, Lu Mu sighed deeply. At this point, other than supporting his daughter, it seemed that this was the only thing he could do. However, for some reason, Lu Mu had a bad premonition in his heart. He kept feeling that something was not right. After leaving the city lord's mansion, the anger in Longao's heart was like an endless torrential wave. Originally, he thought that since he and Yihao had made a one-year agreement, Yihao would not deal with him or the family behind him within a year. But now it seemed that Yihao was simply a shameless villain who did not abide by the agreement. Since the other party was not benevolent, then don't blame him for being unjust. According to Longao's original plan, he would personally go to the Sky Cloud sect after a year. But now, Longao had decided to immediately go to the Sky Cloud sect. Whether or not he could defeat Yihao, he had to completely resolve this matter. Otherwise, Yihao was like a ticking time bomb, who knew when it would explode. Longao. Looking at Mu He who suddenly appeared in front of him, Longao was also a little surprised. Although they were only relatives, but since young, in the eyes of these so-called cousins, they did not treat him as a relative at all. Mu He, what's the matter? Nodding, Mu He said, Longao, Grandma wants to see you. Grandma? Of course, Longao knew who the Grandma Mu He was talking about was. Mu Wanfeng, the head of the Mu family. She single-handedly supported the entire Mu family. Moreover, she was his mother's mother and his own grandmother. No matter how unhappy he was with the Mu family, Longao was very clear that he had to go to the Mu family for his mother's sake. Let's go. On the way to the Mu family. Longao, I have to admit that before this, we have indeed underestimated you. I am also very clear that with my current strength, it is simply impossible for me to be your opponent. I would like to ask you for something. I hope that you can agree to it. Seemingly a little surprised, Longao smiled and nodded. Let's hear it first. If I can do it, I will definitely agree to it. Cousin, you are now the Imperial Guardian of the National Guardian Hall of the Star Cloud Imperial family. Your status is high, and I can completely foresee that you will definitely soar to the sky in the future. I just hope that when you are high and mighty, you can take care of the Mu family. No matter what, Aunt and you are both members of the Mu family. Mu family? When did he become a member of the Mu family? Longao felt that this was a little funny. People were like this. When you were down, no one would help you in your hour of need. They would only give you a kick. But once you soared, that kick would become flattery. The Mu family was like this now. Although he was unwilling in his heart, could he refuse? After thinking about it, he really could not refuse. Chapter 73. For the sake of his mother, Longao nodded and agreed. No problem. As long as I, Longao, am here, the Mu clan will be here. Hearing this, Mu He heaved a sigh of relief. Although the Mu clan was one of the three major clans in Thundercloud City, it was now in a crisis. Since the death of the head of the clan, the Mu clan had been supported by Mu Wanfeng. However, Mu Wanfeng was still a woman. The other clans tolerated the Mu clan mainly because they were afraid of the Mu clan's power. However, after so many years, the Mu clan's power was slowly being depleted. How many more years could the Mu clan last? Mu clan main hall. Mu Wanfeng and her two sons were there. When they saw Longao enter, their attitudes were completely different. This was the difference brought by status and strength. The three knew, but Longao knew even better. Aoer, come and sit. Grandma, are you feeling well? To be honest, Longao was a little unfamiliar with this grandma. Since he could remember, this was the second time he had seen her. Very well. I heard that you are now the Imperial Protector of Starcloud Kingdom? No matter how unhappy he was, Longao still nodded and said,
"That's right. What can I do for you, Grandma? Or the Mu clan let you down before. However, we are still a family. Grandma has something to ask of you. Grandma, you are treating me like an outsider. No matter what it is, just say it. As long as I can do it, I will do my best."
He had already guessed what his grandmother was talking about, but Longao was very clear in his heart that no matter what, he had to agree. It was still the same sentence. Even if you don't look at the monk's face, you have to look at the Buddha's face.
Or your identity is completely different now. As the Imperial Protector of Star Cloud Kingdom, you can change our fate anytime you want.
Mu Wanfeng's words were not exaggerated at all. Every Imperial Protector of Star Cloud Kingdom was a high and mighty existence. Any one of them could easily destroy Thundercloud City and a clan. Mu Wanfeng was clear about the Mu clan's current situation. As long as her grandson helped, the Mu clan would have a chance to develop. As for the future, that was a matter for the future.
Grandma, if you have something to say, just say it. All right, since that's the case, I won't beat around the bush. I hope that you can take over the position of Patriarch of the Mu clan.
Ah? Longao was very surprised because he had never thought that the matter that his grandma was talking about would be this matter. She wanted him to inherit the position of the head of the Mu family? What a joke.
Listen to me. Grandma, listen to me first.
Longao had already decided that no matter what happened, no matter who came, he would not agree to become the head of the Mu family.
Grandma, my mother and I are both from the Mu clan. No matter what happens, this fact will never change.
So as long as I'm here, the Mu clan will be fine. Grandma, is it okay for me to say this?
Looking deeply at her grandson, Mu Wanfeng waved her hand helplessly and said,
"Since you are unwilling, I will not force you. Come with me."
With that, Mu Wanfeng took Longao's hand and left the hall. In a secret chamber.
Grandma, what's this?
Looking at the yellow book that his grandma handed to him, Longao was very curious.
The martial technique recorded in this yellow book was accidentally obtained by the ancestor of the Mu clan countless years ago. Although this martial technique is very powerful, it can't be cultivated. You are alone outside and will inevitably encounter dangerous places. Grandma is reminding you now, unless it is a moment of life and death, you must not use this martial technique. Do you understand?
Grandma, of course I understand. I'm just curious. Why can't I cultivate this martial technique?
You may not know, but this martial technique can instantly increase a person's strength, but it comes at a great price. Because of this, the ancestor of the Mu clan has decreed that the disciples of the Mu clan are not allowed to cultivate this martial technique.
Increase a person's strength in an instant? Hearing this, Longao seemed a little surprised. He immediately opened the yellow book. On the first page, there were 4 ancient words, 9 needles to God. 9 needles to God? After roughly reading the so-called 9 needles to God, Longao was pleasantly surprised and shocked. Because the 9 needles to God recorded in the yellow book roughly meant that with the power of the 9 needles, one could seal the 108 aperture acupoints in the body, as well as the blood vessels throughout the body, stimulating unlimited physical strength and instantly increasing one's strength. Although the 9 needles to God could increase one's strength in an instant, the only drawback was that once the 9 needles to God was used, the backlash would be so strong that one might even lose one's life. Because of this, the ancestor of the Mu clan forbade the younger generation to cultivate the 9 needles to God. Otherwise, why would such a powerful martial technique be sealed by the Mu clan? At this time, Mu Wanfeng took out a small box from a secret compartment. Opening the box, there were 9 blue needles, each as thick as a finger, inside. These are the 9 needles of God refined by the ancestor of the Mu clan. Again, don't use the 9 needles to God unless you have no other choice. After taking the 9 needles, Longao put them away and said, "Grandma, don't worry. I won't use the needles casually.
Aor, I really didn't expect that the Long clan would have such a genius like you. But I still want to remind you not to get too close to Lu Mu, especially his daughter Lu Ji.
Lu Mu? Lu Ji?
Longao didn't have a good impression of Lu Ji, but he had a good impression of Lu Mu.
But he wasn't a fool.
Since his grandma said so, there must be something fishy about this matter.
Grandma, what's wrong with Lu Mu and Lu Ji?
Or you don't know. Lu Mu and Lu Ji are naturally sinister and cunning. Although Lu Mu treats you well on the surface, it's very likely that he'll do something to you behind your back. So, you have to be careful at all times, understand? Nodding his head, Longao expressed that he understood and said, Grandma, I know.
I'll say it again. As long as I, Longao, am here, the Mu clan will be fine.
Mu Wafeng seemed to have aged a lot in an instant. She said helplessly,
I'm old. I don't think I can live for long. I just don't want the Mu clan to be destroyed in my hands. Well, since you're here, stay a few more days and keep me company.
Longao originally wanted to refuse, but when he saw his grandma's aged face, he couldn't bear to do so. He could only agree helplessly. In the Mu clan, Longao didn't waste any time. He wholeheartedly immersed himself in practicing the 9 needles of God. He knew that such a powerful martial technique might save him in the future. The 9 needles of God instantly increased his strength. Chapter 74. Under Mu Wanfeng's repeated requests, Longao stayed in the Mu family for 3 days. 3 days later, Red Fire Town, Long family. As for the matter of the Sky Cloud sect, Longao had never mentioned it from the beginning to the end. However, the Star Cloud royal family, for some unknown reason, had directly ordered to continue the construction of the Scarlet Fire Town. It could be said that the Scarlet Fire Town was changing every day. After returning to the family, Longao spent most of his time with his parents other than practicing the soul-suppressing seal and the 9 needles sealing God. 3 days later, Longao got up and left the Long family. Outside the Thunder Cloud City. Looking at the tall city wall behind him, Longao clenched his fists and said firmly,
No matter who it is, don't hurt my family.
The Flowing Cloud sect was a mid-tier sect in the Tianzhou. It was not as strong as any of the families in the Star Cloud City, but it was above the Thunder Cloud City. The Flowing Cloud Peak was a few miles long. One mountain was connected to another, like flowing water. That was why it was called the Flowing Cloud Peak.
The Flowing Cloud sect is an important place. Outsiders are not allowed to enter. I'm looking for Yihao.
Yihao? The 2 Flowing Cloud Martial School disciples were shocked when they heard the other party call Elder Yihao by his name. When they looked at the other party's age, their faces were instantly filled with disdain and contempt.
Kid, I advise you to leave here quickly. Otherwise, you won't even have the chance to regret. Senior brother, this person dares to call Elder Yihao's name. It's already a death sentence. Why don't we take him down? Maybe Elder Yihao will be happy and accept us as disciples. Looking at the 2 coldly, Longao said in an extremely cold voice,
Get out of my way.
Get out?
You want us to get out?
Ha ha. As if they had heard the funniest thing in the world, the 2 laughed without restraint.
Kid, who are you? Tell me your name if you dare. Thunder Cloud City, Red Fire Town's Long family disciple, Longao. Thunder Cloud City? Red Fire Town? Long family? Ah ha ha ha. Hearing Longao's identity, the 2 laughed even more unscrupulously, because the Red Fire Town's Long family was nothing in the eyes of the Sky Cloud Martial School, let alone a little disciple of the Long family. Long family was one of the strongest families in the Martial Heaven continent. Even the 5th-rank Long family wouldn't dare to act like this. This was the direct result of having a powerful family. Longao didn't blame his family because he knew that if he didn't want to be despised by others, he could only rely on himself. Kid, since you're from the Scarlet Fire Town, then stay here. The two of them had come together. Perhaps it was to flatter him, but what was the result? The two came fast, and left even faster. Only two screams could be heard, followed by the sound of bones breaking. Their screams echoed throughout the Sky Cloud Martial School. Soon, a few figures shot out from the Sky Cloud Peak. He arrived in the blink of an eye. The 5 of them were all inner disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School, and all of them were at the 10th level of inner chi. They could be considered as top warriors in the Sky Cloud Martial School, and all of them were extremely arrogant. Brother Chin, this bastard is looking for trouble, quickly stop him. Seeing the two screaming on the ground, the 5 who had just stood up were shocked. Chin Ching asked coldly, "Who are you? Why are you looking for trouble in the Sky Cloud Martial School?" "The dogs of the Sky Cloud Martial School are biting people, so I can only teach them a lesson on behalf of the Sky Cloud Martial School." "Sir, don't you think you're going a bit too far?" Waving his hand, Longao didn't want to waste any more words, so he said directly, "I'm looking for Yi Hao. This has nothing to do with you." "Humph, who do you think you are? How dare you call Elder Yi by his name? Just this point alone is enough to kill you." Of course, the others didn't want to let this happen. This was the Sky Cloud Martial School, and a brat called an elder by his name. If this spread out, the Sky Cloud Martial School would become a laughingstock. This time, Longao obviously didn't want to waste any time. Before the 5 made a move, Longao's body had already rushed out. Under the 5 shocked gazes, they didn't even have time to react before they were sent flying one by one. Sending 5 10th level energy warriors flying with one punch? What kind of concept was this? In this kind of situation, if they still didn't know his strength, then they would really be idiots. It was because of this that everyone looked at him with fear. It was hard to imagine where this person's confidence came from. Even if he was a higher heaven stage warrior, so what? After all, the Sky Cloud Martial School was full of powerful warriors. "Yi Hao, get the hell out here! Yi Hao, get the hell out here!" Although Longao's voice wasn't loud, it was like a huge wave rolling out. In the blink of an eye, it had spread throughout the entire Sky Cloud Martial School. In less than a minute, the entire Sky Cloud Martial School was in an uproar. "Longao, you've gone too far!" Yi Hao's voice rang out. Then, Yi Hao's figure appeared, coldly looking at the teenager in front of him. At this moment, Yi Hao's face was extremely cold. Yi Hao really couldn't figure it out. He had already made a 1-year agreement with the other party, and the 1-year agreement hadn't expired yet. Why did the other party come knocking on his door and even ask him to get the hell out? It was simply unbearable. The secret cave could bear it, but the chrysanthemum couldn't. "Yi Hao, I made a 1-year agreement with you." "The agreement hasn't been fulfilled yet, and you've shamelessly played tricks on me. You're really shameless." Longao directly threw the letter in his hand out. The one thing that Longao couldn't accept the most was someone threatening his family. After just a glance, Yi Hao threw the letter away and said, "I didn't write this letter. Longao, you're really interesting. I can tell you clearly that if I wanted to deal with your family, I would do it in a matter of minutes. I wouldn't do this behind your back. Yi Hao, do you really think you can fool me? You're still an elder of the Sky Cloud Martial School. Longao, the 1-year agreement hasn't been fulfilled yet. If you do this, you'll be violating the agreement between you and Elder Yi. Then, the Sky Cloud Martial School won't sit by and do nothing." The master of the Sky Cloud Martial School, Tu Lei, appeared in front of Longao with 4 elders. As the 5 strongest warriors of the Sky Cloud Martial School, their aura alone was enough to crush Longao to death. However, they were afraid of the Star Cloud royal family, so they didn't dare to act recklessly. "Master Tu, this is between me and Yi Hao. The Sky Cloud Martial School said that they wouldn't interfere in this matter. Is the Sky Cloud Martial School going back on their word?" Although Longao had full confidence in himself, If he were to face the entire Sky Cloud Martial School, he would have no chance of winning. Because the Sky Cloud Martial School had said that they wouldn't interfere in this matter, Longao somewhat despised the Sky Cloud Martial School. A martial school that didn't keep its word. Just think about it, one could imagine what would happen to such a martial school in the future. Longao, I won't interfere in the 1-year agreement between you and Elder Yi. But today, you've made a scene in the Sky Cloud Martial School, so I have to interfere. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.